This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Some sun will give way to clouds today. It'll become windy and warmer this afternoon with a high of 56.
Let's get the latest on the Cardinals and look at what's happening down in Florida. Matt Pauley will have that. Cardinals won again yesterday. And the Billikens, boy, they would love a win at Dayton, and Dayton would love nothing more than to spoil the Billikens' party. It's all up in sports at 6:15.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Snowblowers are out, clearing streets and sidewalks from New Jersey to Norwich, Connecticut, and on up into Providence, Rhode Island, which bore the brunt of yesterday's historic blizzard. The snow there measures more than 3 feet. WPRI-TV's Kristen Burnell.
Abandoned cars lined the streets. People were sledding down College Street, a road that's usually packed with traffic. We saw plows getting stuck, winds whipping snow into massive drifts, and crews working through whiteout conditions all throughout the day yesterday.
They got almost 20 inches of snow in New York City, where kids have been ordered to return to public schools. This dad's in Queens.
A lot of parents have to go to work too. So now if you cancel school, what do they do with their kids, whatnot? I'm fine with it.
President Trump will trumpet the state of a strong union when he delivers his first State of the Union address of his second term tonight.
We have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. It's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about.
CBS's Stacey Lynn from the White House.
President Trump will address a divided Congress. Expect him to focus a lot on immigration policy, the economy, and national security. His goal will be to outline his priorities for the coming year amid debate over executive power and bipartisan tensions.
FedEx is suing the Trump administration, demanding a full refund for tariffs after the Supreme Court deemed them illegal.
The lawsuit appears to be the first from a major company since the ruling. In a statement to CBS News, FedEx said it filed the suit to, quote, protect the company's rights as an importer of record. In its ruling, the Supreme Court didn't address how refunds would be handled, although one justice acknowledged it could be a mess. The federal government collected more than $130 billion in tariffs from importers. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
The president's new 10% global tariffs take effect today. Congress is expected to vote this day on the first major bill responding to last year's deadly crash between a passenger plane and an Army helicopter near Washington, D.C. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
This Aviation Reform Act, the Rotor Act, has the support of airline pilots, the trade group that represented the airlines, the families that lost loved ones in the DCA crash, but it does not have the support of the military.
Sales are slumping at Home Depot. The company reports about a 4% decline in the fourth quarter, thanks to a slow housing market and high interest rates. Those sales are still better than analysts expected. Dow futures up 121. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
It is 6:03. We have cloudy skies. It's 22 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Joe Lundberg says we're going to get a warm-up. We will have that forecast momentarily. As you heard first on KMOX Monday afternoon, the St. Louis County Executive is accusing the County Council of contaminating the negotiations process to find a new government center.
As a result, Sam Page has ordered a 30-day halt on all negotiations until the council, quote, commits to treating negotiating staff with civility and respect. KMOX talked with Councilman Mark Harder.
Stephanie Streeter, the head of Public Works, was supposed to be negotiating. He's brought in Gary Earls to help negotiate in her place.
Was there problems there between the council and the negotiating staff?
No, I wouldn't call it that, but I think we all voiced our opinions how this was moving along or not moving along.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
If you want to see the full press release and letter from Page to Raven Development, it is posted at KMOX.com.
The sound of houses being demolished in Cades Cove in Florissant. KMOX was there earlier this month, but only 6 were destroyed because of nuclear contamination.
Those homes have had multiple homeowners, and people in that subdivision are really, really sick.
That's Dawn Chapman, co-founder of Just Moms STL. She tells KMOX there's a lot of doubt among residents still living in Cades Cove that nuclear waste only contaminated 6 properties.
When that home came down, looking at the core, I feel like this is just out of control. I don't get this. I know they want to control it, but I think all bets are off for where this radioactive waste could be, and they're not even done testing for it.
Chapman says this is not a good feeling for North County residents living on nuclear contaminated grounds, waiting for their areas to be cleaned up. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
This Thursday from 5 till 8, there's a free RECA Claims Support Group meeting at the Thornhill Library branch.
A federal ultimatum for the special school district is fueling political blowback in Jefferson City after the DOJ released a report exposing the dangerous use of seclusion and physical restraints on disabled students. The Post-Dispatch reports local school administrators are questioning their SSD partnerships. A newly filed bill in the State House would even allow individual school districts to vote to withdraw from SSD entirely.
After years of preservation battles, a historic North St. Louis music venue is slated for the Wrecking Ball.
In 2018, the city's preservation board successfully blocked a private developer from demolishing the Club Imperial building in Walnut Park West. But now the city itself is asking to tear it down. Development officials say the structure's condition has worsened so much that saving it is no longer financially feasible, with stabilization costs alone hitting $18 million. If the demolition request is approved on Wednesday, work could begin later this spring, clearing the blighted property to attract a new developer while also salvaging some of its historic elements.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Southwestern Illinois College is growing a 4-year agribusiness degree with McKendree University. Under that partnership, students will complete their first 2 years of coursework at SWIC, then complete an agribusiness bachelor's degree at McKendree. That program begins this fall.
It's 6:07, traffic and weather next.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
All right, let's get you updated on traffic and weather. It's kind of cold out there right now, but it's going to warm up nicely. And the weather has some good news for you, especially as we head into the weekend. My goodness, it's going to feel like April. In the meantime, let's see if things are heating up on the roadways. Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Well, it's not bad out there, Debbie. We do have some slow traffic out west still on eastbound 70. Now the delays I'm seeing are just east of Warrenton to about the Wright City Rest area. Earlier it was through Wright City proper. They picked up that roadwork, so I'm not sure if this is just volume behind there that they have yet to pick up barrels for or not. But anyway, there was a delay indicated there. Eastbound 70 east of Warrenton to about the Wright City Rest area. But after that, it opens up and it runs well. You're in good shape past that point, really all the way across the Missouri River bridges if you're taking 70 or 64 out of St. Charles County. They're working near the Discovery Bridge on westbound 370, opposite direction of rush hour flow. They have, I think it's the left lane closed there past 141. Not bothering anybody right now. They just picked up some debris eastbound 44 at Antire. Look okay. And just cleared a stall to the shoulder. North 270 just past 64. And again, not seeing any delays in those areas. It looks great on the Illinois side through the construction zones on 64 between O'Fallon and Fairview Heights as well. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's get the latest from AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg as we get a bit of a warm-up.
Warmer this afternoon with a high of 56 and mostly cloudy tonight. The winds will back down to low 38. Clouds and some sun tomorrow, the high 58. Thursday, clouds breaking for more and more sunshine, the high 56. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's chilly out there. 24 degrees, feels like 14 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:11, and the 31st annual St. Louis Jewish Film Festival kicks off its 2026 season with a preview event tonight at the J. St. Louis Asua Taiko will perform along with a screening of the movie Sugihara, Conspiracy of Kindness, a film from award-winning filmmaker Diane Estelle Vicari. She'll stick around for a Q&A. The film festival officially kicks off March 15th. It's presented by B&B Theaters with a special showing at the Alamo Draft House.
Plans have been approved to build a large subdivision in rural St. Charles County. Our partners at Fox 2 report the county council voted Monday night to approve plans for a large subdivision on the south side of Highway N. The subdivision will include nearly 480 homes on more than 250 acres of land, and it's located across the street from Wentzville South Middle School and Timberland High School. St. Charles County Council passed the plans 6-1.
They're breaking ground later this morning on the new Guy and Judy Jaffe family branch of St. Louis County Library. The new library will be built on the site of the current Saks branch, which closed at the end of January and will be torn down. The new branch will be much bigger and include many more amenities like spaces for children, tweens, and teenagers, study rooms, a fireplace, and a Goshen Coffee Roasters Cafe.
St. Louis has been effectively ruled out as a home base for national teams during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. St. Louis City SC President Diego Giuliani said on the Gas House Gang on KMOX yesterday that because St. Louis isn't an official match host, the travel schedule is a deal breaker for international teams.
We're not a host city, right? So teams are looking at the group stage games after their draw, and they're trying to be located in a city where they at least can avoid one travel.
National teams are instead opting for cities where they're already scheduled to play to simplify their tournament schedules. He also said that downtown actually worked against City, saying that a lot of teams wanted to be in a more secluded area away from fans.
Battlehawks tickets could become much harder to find next season if the UFL moves forward with a plan to downsize the team's home field. Owner Mike Repole says he wants to intentionally create a shortage of seats to help build the long-term brand value of the franchise.
So 25,000 going crazy or 32 and a half that fit 62. Not an empty seat. Packed stadium. Crowd roaring. What do you think?
The proposed strategy involves selling out a smaller venue for several years to build demand before the team eventually earns its way back to a 60,000-seat stadium.
Also, the Battlehawks training camp opened at UFL headquarters in Arlington. All 8 teams are having their training camp there. The Battlehawks home opener is Saturday, March 28th against the DC Defenders at 6:14. We'll, of course, cover that as we cover everything on KMOX, and we are the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go to baseball. KMOX's Matt Pauley in Jupiter.
The Cardinals collect their second win of Grapefruit League play, defeating Miami 5-4 in walk-off fashion, way before a group of minor leaguers pull off the comeback. Michael McGreevy makes the start. He gives up a home run in the first batter he faces when accidentally using batting practice balls that were not rubbed up. After that, they get the correct baseballs, and McGreevy sails through the rest of his 2-inning outing. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks it's a good starting spot for McGreevy.
I thought he did a nice job. He mixed well. I know he's been working a little bit more on the depthiness of the slider. So overall, he felt good. Something we can build off of.
Giving up the home run and then locking back in is another example of McGreevy dealing well with adversity, something Marmol feels is a skill that McGreevy has.
He doesn't seem bothered by a whole lot, and that's really cool to see out of a young guy. It's not that things don't bother him, but he stays locked in. Everyone's going to experience something throughout the course of a game that throws you off. The skill is to refocus, and he does that really quickly.
McGreevy's final line is 1 run on 2 hits with 2 strikeouts and no walks in 2 innings. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Detroit Tigers ace Tarek Skubal plans to make only 1 start for the United States in the World Baseball Classic, regardless of how far Team USA advances. The 2-time AL Cy Young Award winner wants to remain on a regular spring training regimen and ramp up for opening day, mostly with the Tigers. Skubal made his first spring training start yesterday, striking out 4 over 2 scoreless innings of 2-hit ball in Detroit's 3-0 win over the Twins. He's expected to pitch for the Tigers again Sunday against the Blue Jays and then start for the U.S. late next week during WBC pool play in Houston. After that, the rest of his outings this spring will come in a Detroit uniform, he said. As for Team USA on the men's side in hockey, they are invited to the State of the Union address tonight in Washington. The women's hockey gold medal winning team has politely declined an invitation from President Trump. In a statement, the women's team said it was sincerely grateful for the invitation, but would be unable to attend due to the timing. Trump also invited the men's gold medal winning team, and scheduling is a challenge as the NHL schedule resumes with 5 games tomorrow, and the White House didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on the status of both teams. We're assuming that the men's team is going to do whatever it can to be there. Lindsey Vonn did whatever she could to race in the Olympics, had a horrific accident in the Milan Cortina Olympics, and says she nearly lost her left leg following that crash. She detailed the extent of her injuries in an Instagram post, saying the crash on February 8th caused compartment syndrome in her left leg. That condition traps swelling and blood in the muscle. It cuts off blood flow and can cause permanent damage. She says surgeon Tom Hackett saved her leg, performing an emergency fasciotomy. And Vonn added she broke her right ankle in that crash as well, and she is currently in a wheelchair. College basketball today, it's St. Louis University against Dayton. 6 o'clock tip-off, 5:45 pregame on the road as the Billikens take on a Dayton team that got walloped last month at Chaffetz Arena. 102-71. SLU drops to number 23 in the top 25 rankings. 1 slot behind number 22 Tennessee. The Volunteers are at Mizzou tonight for an 8 o'clock tip. Illinois stays at number 10. The new number 1 is Duke. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It's 6:19 Total Information AM on KMOX. We'll check traffic and weather in just 1 minute.
Hey, if you need something done in your outdoor space, you need Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Why? Because Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Case in point, they've been around for 58 years now. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. There are thousands of happy customers. So if you're looking for an outdoor project that is going to be quality and last for years to come, then it pays to go with the best. The company that uses always the best products and the best installers, because they have their own teams, not people who are plucked off a parking lot and may or may not know what they're doing. In fact, Chesterfield Fence and Deck stands behind everything they do. They're happy to come to you with free project design, or you can visit them in their beautiful showroom to get a real idea of some of the things you can do. If you mention me, Debbie Monterrey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best for 58 years. Visit them online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20, let's see how things are rolling out there. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, for everybody out there, for the most part, things are doing okay. We're getting a little more volume, Tom, so we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown between Bayless and Weber on northbound 55. That's turned into a backup, though, out west. I mentioned slow traffic. Initially, it was through Wright City proper. Then it was near the rest area. Now it's between Warrenton and the Wright City rest area. And that slowdown 10 minutes ago has turned into more of a backup. So I believe it's still road work going on there. Maybe they just haven't picked it up at the west end, but there is a backup there on eastbound 70 just east of Warrenton for a short stretch about midway into the Wright City rest area. And after that, you're back on track and you look good east of there all the way as far east as you want to go on 70 or 64 for that matter, coming out of Wentzville. And on the Illinois side, we're still good to go through the construction zones of Fallon Fairview Heights on 64, 55 down in Festus is fine. Like I said, north of Bayless, it's just that slowdown between Bayless and Weber for you so far this morning. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg has some good news for you. It's going to warm up. We're going to get up to 56 degrees today, says Joe. He's got even better news for you later this week. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 38. It'll be windy today. Tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, a high of 58. Thursday, we'll get some rain early, it appears, but it's mostly just sunshine Thursday and a high of 56 degrees. And Friday, plenty of sunshine. A warm afternoon, says Joe, a high of 69 degrees. And Saturday, sunny and pleasant with a high of 66. Currently, we have 24. Feels like 12 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. New thinking on heart disease risk.
For years, heart disease has often been treated like a plumbing problem, with larger blockages seen as the biggest threat. But new research shows that may not always be the case. New findings from the PROMISE trial suggest heart disease risk may not be so straightforward, especially for women. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
Less plaque does not automatically mean less danger. For women, risk may show up earlier, which means we may need to think earlier about prevention, statins, blood pressure control, lifestyle changes, even when the blockage doesn't look dramatic.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
State purchasing documents show Missouri is starting to build a new statewide marijuana education campaign. They're looking to do so, and according to a recent request for contractors spotted by the Post-Dispatch, the Department of Health and Senior Services wants the initiative to focus on how cannabis impacts adolescent brain development and mental health. The proposed campaign would also educate adults on safe home storage and the risks of over-consuming edibles.
Should the state of Missouri publicly list every registered voter online, including address, date of birth, and voter ID number? That's what a bill proposed by Granby Republican State Senator Jill Carter would require. In committee, senators on both sides of the aisle questioned it, citing privacy concerns.
Those lists are public record that can be obtained by filing a Sunshine Law request and paying a small fee. But Carter says putting it on a website would help poll watchers. Senator Sandy Crawford, a Republican from Buffalo, said it seems like a lot of identifiable information when we have so many concerns about fraud and everything else.
Legislation being considered in Jeff City would hold healthcare professionals responsible if they use artificial intelligence and someone is harmed. Afton Democrat Senator Doug Beck introduced the bill that would cover everything from diagnosis to treatment.
It can be used as a tool, and that's what we're hoping, but we also don't want it to take over diagnosis and all these other things.
Under the proposal, plaintiffs would have 2 years to file an AI-related medical malpractice claim.
A bill at play in Congress would create regional defense technology hubs, one of which may come to the St. Louis region. The bill is co-sponsored by Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell, who says it has bipartisan support. Bell tells Missouri Net the bill would allow the Department of Defense to create a network of development centers or hubs. Those hubs would focus on creating and advancing emerging defense technology.
Bell says a hub in the St. Louis region would also boost the local economy, especially when it comes to jobs.
As a former educator, many of my best and brightest students felt that they had to leave the region for better opportunities. And I think it's time that we start creating those pathways right here, creating those opportunities right here so that we can keep our best and brightest, but also attract folks back to this region.
The bill currently sits in the U.S. House.
A new study from WashU found that kids who feel less safe in their neighborhoods show physical changes in their brains and display emotional and cognitive challenges.
It's important to talk to our kids about how they are feeling about their environment and their neighborhoods.
Children who reported feeling less safe in their communities tended to have smaller amygdalas, a deep brain structure that helps human beings assess threats and process emotions. Those kids were also more likely to experience mental health, cognitive, or behavioral challenges. Co-author Deanna Barch says sometimes perception is not based on real crime stats.
It's really important for parents, teachers, community members to be talking to kids about how safe they feel in their environment, because I don't think we can assume that objective measures tell us exactly how kids are feeling.
The study of nearly 12,000 kids between the ages of 9 and 12 across the country is the largest ever study of brain development through childhood and adolescence. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It's 6:26. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Missouri Athletic Club. Boy, oh boy, cannot wait. What is today? February 24th. That means in 3 months, guess what's going to open? Yes, indeed, the pool at the MAC West. And the members and guests know that the pool at the MAC West is quite possibly the best in the area. It has a fantastic outdoor bar with seating all throughout, shaded, of course. All of the great new pool chairs that they've put out with umbrellas, and the pool is great. It's got, diving board, and the kids are on that side having a good time. And there's an area for littles to hang out, of course, and for adults to hang and socialize. And then inside you have the cafe, and it's nice to talk about on a cold day. Inside you have the cafe where poolside snacks and food are made for you, and of course all the beverages. And then if you wanted to go upstairs to 1903 and have a nice drink, cocktail, or hang out and have lunch, that's adults only at the 1903, but this Musial Grill's right above the snack bar, and that's for all families. I mean, it's all right there, and the families have a blast with the swim meets and the social activities. It's Missouri Athletic Club, it's the pool, it's the MAC West, and it's only 3 months away. mac-stl.org.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
This year, flavor doesn't walk. It runs wild. At P.F. Chang's, we're charging into the year of the horse with bold new wok-fired dishes like pork belly bao buns and refreshing cocktails like the Midnight Gallop. P.F. Chang's beloved red envelope tradition returns, adding a surprise element to every visit during the Lunar New Year. Each guest receives a red envelope revealing a special offer redeemable on a future visit. Celebrate the Lunar New Year with flavor that runs wild at P.F. Chang's. Valid for dine-in only while supplies last. Details at pfchangs.com.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
It is 6:30, and right now it's just starting to get light out. We still have some clouds out there, 22 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tuesdays are always a little more busy than Mondays. Everybody gets back into the swing of things after some folks maybe take a long weekend. So there's a little more volume out there, but it's still not bad. Northbound 55, the right lanes are just a little slow around Mattis. All lanes sort of bogged down from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. If you're on northbound 270 north of Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, just a general slowdown through there. Southbound 61 Wentzville Parkway down to 64 or 70, just kind of busy along that run, and it's looking better. Still delays, but 10 minutes ago it was a jam. Now it's more of just a heavy slowdown eastbound 70 from Warrenton about midway into the Wright City rest area. So it looks like maybe that road work they had out there that was running a little late's getting picked up, but there is still a little bit of a delay. On the Illinois side, starting to see a little bit of a delay as well on westbound 64, entering that construction zone at 159. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Some sun followed by clouds today. It's going to be windy and warmer than yesterday with a high of 56. Tomorrow's high 58 with some sunshine. Let's see, we've got 56 on Thursday, 69 degrees on Friday. So plan accordingly. Right now it's cloudy and 33 downtown.
If they're not open to a little criticism, then they need to get a little thicker skin, in my opinion.
St. Louis County Councilman Mark Harder reacting to Executive Sam Page, accusing the council of contaminating the negotiating process of finding a new building for operations. Page ordered a 30-day halt on negotiations until the council is more respectful to the negotiating team.
We're trying to give some direction and to let them know what we were interested in. And so that was the purpose of the meeting.
Harder says last week's meeting was a closed hearing, so he can't say much, but he did say a majority of members do not think Gary Earls, the former county operations director, should be on the negotiating team.
A scathing Justice Department report accusing this special school district of using isolation and physical restraints as a catch-all punishment. The investigation found one student was secluded 186 times in a single school year. In other instances, students engaged in serious self-harm, including tying shoelaces around their necks while locked in isolation for hours. The DOJ also criticized the district for being uncooperative during the probe, including delaying records and blocking school visits.
A 16-year-old girl is missing in Madison County. Authorities say she may be with a non-custodial parent. Our partners at Fox 2 say Lily Watkins was reported missing from Fredericktown around 8:25 p.m. Sunday. Watkins is described as white, 5'2", 115 pounds, blonde hair, green eyes, last seen wearing glasses and gray cross-country pants. Investigators believe she may be in the company of her biological non-custodial mother, Jessica Watkins. Officials say Lily is believed to be in danger, and they ask anyone with information to call 911.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:33. We've got your Money Minute from Bloomberg coming up next.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head,
is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They're in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's 6:34. This is KMOX's Total Information AM, and this is Bloomberg, a Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon Ganner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Investors are seeing traps everywhere. Excitement over the artificial intelligence-fueled boom has turned to paranoia about which industries could be ravaged by the technology. IBM became the latest casualty yesterday, tumbling the most since the dot-com bubble burst. That sent stocks plunging. The Dow dropped 820 points yesterday. This morning, markets are looking up. Key events on the agenda include earnings from Home Depot and the President's State of the Union address. S&P futures are rising 16 points, Dow futures gaining 80. And Walmart is handing out bonuses, and it's better than what its corporate staff expected. The retailer will pay employees 121% of their eligible bonuses next month. This marks at least the third consecutive year that came in higher than the goal, which is 100%. The retailer has had a strong run in recent years, attracting cost-conscious consumers with low prices. Walmart's market value hit $1 trillion this month. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
I'm fixing to tell you something that the insurance industry does not want you to ever hear. Bullies often delay and deny. I see them sitting on premiums paid and making money and dragging it out for as long as they can. Many times, we're forced to take them to court. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Their high-paid lobbyists are on a mission to make sure that at trial, jurors are not allowed to learn that the at-fault party has insurance, and in some cases, lots of it. I can think of no case in all my years where there was no insurance for the at-fault party. So let's fight back. It's all these bullies understand. Tell everybody you know the truth. If you've been injured in a car crash or hurt at a store or business, visit forthepeople.com. We're here 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
If you've ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Tonight, it's men's Pelicans basketball action as they take to the court against Dayton. Pre-game 5:45, tip at 6 on your home for Pelicans basketball. KMOX.
It is now 6:38. President Trump's State of the Union is tonight, and he will use his State of the Union address to argue that his whirlwind first year back has made America stronger and that Republicans deserve to keep control of Congress after the midterms. The president is expected in tonight's speech to proclaim the economy booming while endorsing increased military funding and tighter voter ID rules.
Authors of past State of the Union speeches say Trump sometimes sounds more restrained when giving the address, although exaggerations and forays into old grievances are also likely. Trump points to rising stock prices and job growth, but many Americans are worried about the economy, and tariffs may yet slow growth.
Volunteers scouring the desert for Nancy Guthrie, despite authorities urging them to stop. The disappearance of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother 3 weeks ago has inspired volunteers to launch their own searches in the dense desert near her home just outside of Tucson. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says while it appreciates the concern for Nancy Guthrie, it's asking people inquiring about volunteering to give investigators space to do their jobs. Best left to professionals.
Coming up on 640, Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are looking good out there on the highway so far this morning, Tom. I mean, we're getting busier, but other than that, there's nothing out of the ordinary to cause any alarm bells to go off for sure. Northbound 55, the right lane's a little busy north of Butler Hill, not that bad there. Some slow traffic from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear, a little busy around Loughborough. Is starting to slow both sides of Gravois on North C70, north of 44 up to Manchester. There's a couple of pockets where it's bogged down, a pretty good chunk of that run. It finally looks good. No longer any delays at all. We've had periodic slowdowns and backups. Warrenton, Wright City area on eastbound 70, but they got all the roadwork picked up, so it's thinned out. And eastbound 70 from Warrenton all the way across the Blanchette Bridge looks great. Southbound 61, no delays coming down to 64 or 70 for you right now. Downtown, it's just a little busy. Westbound 64 at the Poplar, and westbound 64 is starting to bog down both sides of 159 through that construction zone in Fairview Heights. And they are working westbound 370 past 141. I believe it's in the left lane that's shut down, but it is westbound, so that's opposite direction of rush hour flow, so traffic looks fine through there, really both directions into or out of St. Charles County for you. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41, and it's Tuesday, February 24th. If you don't like the temperature outside right now, just hang on. It's going to get better. Joe Lundberg, our AccuWeather meteorologist, has the latest.
And Debbie, it is going to get better. With each passing hour, you'll see these temperatures start going up. There'll be a lot more clouds than sun, but enough sun to get through it. When you combine it with a pretty gusty wind developing this afternoon, the temperatures should jump into the low and mid-50s this afternoon. Tonight won't be nearly as cold, even though it'll be mostly cloudy. We'll keep temperatures in the upper 30s. Clouds, some sun tomorrow, 55, maybe up to 58 in places. Clouds give way to more and more sunshine Thursday with a high again mid-50s. It gets warmer Friday with sunshine, the high 69. And the weekend starts on a beautiful note with sunshine. We'll get to 66. It does cool off on Sunday. Right now it's 25 at St. Peter's, 24 at Florissant, partly cloudy, 26 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 6:42. A Trader Joe's product is being recalled.
A Portland, Oregon company is recalling nearly 3.4 million pounds of frozen chicken fried rice products sold at Trader Joe's stores and in Canada. The products may contain pieces of glass. Ajinomoto Foods North America pulled Trader Joe's chicken fried rice. 4 consumers complained of finding glass. No injuries have been reported. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
A group of Kirkwood residents is trying to save an historic home on Taylor Avenue from demolition and have filed a lawsuit. The Marquitz Garage House was built in 1858, resides in the North Taylor Historic District of Kirkwood, and is on the National Register of Historic Places.
The suit, according to the Business Journal, says the city of Kirkwood is required to enforce the protection of historic properties. The L. Tracy Sorkin Self-Declaration Trust purchased the property a year ago and then applied for a demolition permit. The city's Landmarks Commission gave it the maximum review period allowed, which expired last night.
The Illinois Education Association releasing its 8th annual State of Education report President Carl Gacke says the latest report finds that Illinoisans are largely concerned about immigration enforcement on school property.
53% were opposed to ICE actions. And when we asked specifically about school property, we found the vast majority were very worried about ICE arrests near school property, including arrests that may target them, a child, parents, or school employees.
The bipartisan polls asked 1,000 Illinoisans about various topics surrounding public education.
People who help take care of Illinois kids after the final school bell rings are asking state lawmakers to restore money cut from their programs in Governor Pritzker's latest budget plan. Susan Stanton from the group Act Now says as many as 15,000 children across the state could lose access to after-school and out-of-school programs if the governor's proposed reductions go into effect. Stanton says the reductions will especially affect community-based programs, which she says are more responsive to needs of local schools and families.
Schools really need that community-based support to be successful. We certainly saw this during the pandemic. Lots of times, the schools had to close during the pandemic, and community-based organizations stayed open when students needed it most.
She says it's up to lawmakers to decide how to pay for those programs.
6 winners have been named in Chicago's annual Snowplow Naming Contest.
After receiving a record number of entries for the Snowplow Naming Contest, 13,300 and 39,000 voters, the winners are Abolish Ice, Stephen Cold Bear, Pope Frio the 14th, The Blizzard of Oz. For horror show fans, there's Sven Cooley after the MeTV character Sven Gooley, and for sports fans, Caleb Chillums after Bears QB Caleb Williams. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News, Chicago.
All right, let's get into some St. Louis sports, starting with the Cardinals. This is what happened to open the game yesterday in Jupiter.
Another pitch on the way. There's a fly ball in the right field. That's way back. And just as we mentioned, if it gets in the air, it's gone for a leadoff home run by Jacob Marcy. And the Marlins take the lead 1-0 on a win-aided, I say win-aided, home run for the Marlins.
Mike Claiborne with the call. Not only was it wind aided, it was aided by a batting practice baseball. That's right. They mistakenly, I believe this is the umpire's responsibility, used batting practice baseballs to open the game instead of the actual game balls. Michael McGreevy found out about that, and he gave up the home run. After they restored the correct baseballs, he locked it down. He went 2 innings, allowed that 1 run on 2 hits, walked no one, and struck out 2. The Cardinals, you think that's bizarre. How about the way the game ended?
So Tarlow, the right-handed hitter, waits, and he's hit by a pitch or hit the knob. The runner's going to try and score, and he does. Ball game. Ball game. Lance Barksdale's walking toward the parking lot, so yeah, this one's over.
It was a wild one for the Cardinals as they come away with a victory against the Marlins yesterday, winning by a 5-4 score. Alongside of Mike Claiborne, I'm Matt Pauley, and Claibs, it was a wild finish as the Cardinals score a couple runs in the 9th inning. The final run scoring on what was officially a wild pitch, but video replay clearly showed that it was actually a foul ball. So Cardinals kind of stole one yesterday.
Well, it's a spring, and I think the word wild is an understatement in how the final inning took place because the Cardinals were almost left for dead. But this is what happens when you have minor leaguers out there, and they're going to make mistakes along the way, and at some point they'll be big leaguers, and they won't make that same mistake again. But it was a different way to win a ball game for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And the Cardinals offensively did not have the best game, but they were able to come away with the victory. Cardinals play a rare night game tonight as they match up against Washington. 5:05 first pitch. For Mike Claiborne, I'm Matt Pauley.
That game will be heard on 11:20 a.m. only tonight. That's because on 104.1 FM, we will have the Billikens. St. Louis University plays tonight at Dayton, a big-time A-10 matchup at 6 o'clock with a 5:45 pregame with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. In the new top 25, SLU is ranked 23. That's because of their loss last week to Rhode Island. They rebounded, as you well know by now, by hammering VCU in the second half and beating them on Friday night at Chaffetz Arena. Speaking of hammering, They blew out Dayton 102-71 the last time these two teams played. So Dayton will be thinking about that tonight as they host the Billikens. The Billikens have a 2-game lead in the loss column on VCU for the number 1 spot, a regular season championship, and a number 1 seed in the A-10 tournament. Number 22 Tennessee plays at Missouri tonight. That one tips off at 8 o'clock. The Tigers have 8 SEC wins. If they can get to 10, most believe they will get into the NCAA tournament with that 10-8 conference record. Not a guarantee, but it is pretty general thinking right now that 10 wins will get them in. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Italian subs for your finance team at Chicago. Easy Cater. Burritos for your call center crew in Plano. Easy Cater. Bagels for your sales reps meeting clients in Charlotte. Easy Cater. Hot chicken sandwiches for your third shift warehouse workers in Memphis. Easy Cater. Your teams may be spread out across the country, but you've got one platform to feed them all, whenever and wherever they work, with food they love from favorite restaurants. Easy Cater. Food for the workplace, all in one place. Order now at easycater.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in store, online, or in the app by 442 unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Save big money on everything for your next bathroom project now at Menards. Upgrade your bathroom with Max. With more than 1,000 showers, bathtubs, and surrounds, you're sure to find exactly what you need to add luxury and style to your bathroom. Save big on our entire selection of Max bathroom products. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there'll be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX. Now the news. At 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:50, and this is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're coming in on northbound 55, folks, you just have that usual slowdown running from about the Union Road overpass all the way through Holly Hills right now is what it's looking like. Northbound 270, Sappington Road overpass to Gravois, bogged down north of Big Bend up to Manchester. You're slow through there. Back to seeing a little volume southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway onto 64. It's slow headed toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and it's slow approaching Winghaven. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got some slow traffic between A and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. After that, it sorts itself out. It looks good. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, you've got that heavy traffic approaching 159 into the construction zone. After that, it's just a little slow crossing the Poplar Street Bridge. Otherwise, the rest of these area interstates are lightly occupied and still looking good for your drive into work or wherever else you're headed to. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're going to get a warm-up today to the tune of 56 degrees, sun followed by clouds. It'll be windy, but noticeably warmer. Mostly cloudy, low 38 tonight. Tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, high 58. Thursday, sunshine, high 56. 69 for the high on Friday, says Joe, with 66 as the high on Saturday. Bring that spring weather. Right now, it's still winter weather this morning. It's 24, feels like 13 downtown at the Arch.
It's 6:52. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will meet with the CEO of the artificial intelligence company Anthropic at the Pentagon to discuss how the military uses the company's Claude program. Anthropic wants to maintain two restrictions: that their AI cannot be used for domestic surveillance operations or autonomous kinetic activities. CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Jolene Kent.
it appears here the reason they appear to be so committed to these two restrictions being maintained for the Pentagon's use is that they're not entirely sure that allowing their AI to conduct potential surveillance would be constitutional.
The Pentagon doesn't want any restrictions at all on the use of the program.
There could be a light at the end of the tunnel for tech layoffs.
Every week, we're hearing about layoffs at yet another tech company, but now there are signs this could be turning around. Former director of California's Employment Development Department, Michael Bernick.
We finally seem to have recalibrated after overhiring in the post-pandemic period.
Tech industry analyst Rob Enderle says new technologies could offer openings for people who learn new skills.
Quantum computing, robotics, AGI, any of those three things could do it. And we've got a new battery technology that's coming forward as well.
Jobs are competitive, but companies are starting to hire. Kathy Whitman for CBS News, San Francisco.
A new report finds businesses are offering smaller raises and bonuses, but fewer workers are looking to move on. Yet, we get that from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
More employees are staying in their jobs, even though company budgets are shrinking.
We know companies are seeking to control labor costs, and it is shifting more to an employer's market.
Ruth Thomas of PayScale, which releases an annual compensation report, says while many businesses still want to reward their best employees, they're taking a different approach.
A peanut butter pay is one of two things. It's either where everybody gets the same level of increase in a given year, or it can mean taking a budget and spreading it very thinly.
But she says when the market changes, the best employees could move on, feeling underappreciated.
It's now 6:54. IDOT is telling motorists to expect delays for ongoing intermittent nighttime lane closures on Illinois 158 between Highway 50 and 161. Drivers are encouraged to find alternate routes. The project is expected to be completed by the summer.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Big happy birthday to our friend Stubby Clapp, the Cardinals' first base coach, who once took down Pete Alonso. He is 53 today. He recently was inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. We really like Stubby. We hope he's recovering from the United States beating Canada in the men's hockey final for the gold medal. Eddie Murray. He is a Hall of Fame first baseman and turns 70 today. Floyd Mayweather Jr., one of the great boxers of all time. He is 49 today.
Birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Remember, if you want a birthday or anniversary announced in this segment, email it to totalam@KMOX.com. totalam@KMOX.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Joyce Amon and John Halstead of Belleville. Also, happy 33rd birthday to Jennifer Harper, and happy birthday to Peter Meredith.
This is the best birthday ever.
Seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get you a furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available, and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with the furnace or you want to prevent problems with the furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke.
Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we have slow traffic, Tom, but it's not terrible. The northbound 55, you've got the usual delays from about Bayless up to River to Pear, North 270, a little slow down through Gravois, and then we'll call it north of Big Bend up to Manchester. It's just sort of off the pace, the whole run through there. If you're on southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, it opens up a little bit before that. And then east of 364 to Winghaven, there's a little more heavy traffic downtown. The delay we had westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge has cleared out, but it's still slow, westbound 64 through 159. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
24 degrees, feels like 12 downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman, and these are the stories making news.
The St. Louis County Executive halting negotiations to find a new headquarters for county operations. I'm Maria Kina with what one council member is saying.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. We'll have more about the homes demolished in Cades Cove and a meeting tonight about what's next.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Some sunshine will fade, be at increasing clouds today as it becomes windy and noticeably warmer, our high 56.
You know what I'd like to do? Ask Jerry Palm, SLU, Illinois, Mizzou. Are they in the NCAA tournament as we sit here today? We'll take a look at his bracket and the latest on the Cardinals from Matt Pauley in Jupiter. On the way at 7:15, it's 7.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
For 100 years, you've welcomed KMOX into your cars, your kitchens, and your daily routines.
You've trusted us through breaking news, championship celebrations, and the stories that shaped our city.
You've listened during moments of joy and leaned on us when times were uncertain.
From overnight shifts to early mornings, from one generation to the next, you've made KMOX part of your life.
From everyone at KMOX, thank you, St. Louis, for 100 unforgettable years.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The cleanup from the blizzard of 26 is underway. Crews in Philadelphia clearing the streets of more than a foot of snow. In New England, they got close to 3.
It's going to be a lot of shoveling. We'll take it as it goes.
That man's in Boston, near the epicenter of the blizzard. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Along the Massachusetts coast, massive waves crashed against the shore, flooding nearby towns as snow came down all day long. More than 37 inches in Providence, Rhode Island, set an all-time record for a snowstorm.
Police in New York City responded to an epic snowball fight in Central Park. Analysts are looking ahead to President Trump's State of the Union address tonight.
Well, we can expect to hear the president hit on the big topics like
the economy, national security, domestic challenges.
Political analyst Amy Dacey says what many people will be listening for.
What is President Trump lining up, and how are people who are either up for re-election or planning on running as challengers this year, how are they going to react to that?
Because she says they're the ones who will have to own that narrative with very thin margins and a lot at stake. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
Signs possible U.S. military strikes on Iran could be imminent. CBS's Christopher Cruz from Washington.
President Trump is denying Washington Post and Wall Street Journal reports that General Dan Cain and other senior Pentagon officials are concerned that a strike on Iran would cause munitions shortages and deplete U.S. air defenses. The officials are also reported to be worried that a lack of allied support for an attack could endanger American troops.
The Washington Post says its review of satellite imagery shows a rapid increase of U.S. military planes near Iran. The search is entering its 24th day, and there's still no sign of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mother. CBS News confirms the masked suspect caught on her doorbell camera video may have gone to Nancy's home before the night she was kidnapped. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti is in Tucson.
In a statement late Monday night, the Pima County Sheriff's Office said in part, there is no date or timestamp associated with these images. Therefore, any suggestion that the photographs were taken on different days is purely speculative.
At court in London this morning.
Good morning.
Russell Brand arriving in a low-cut leopard print shirt. He pleaded not guilty to 2 charges of sexual assault, including one of rape. Last year, the 50-year-old comedian entered the same plea to 5 similar charges. Dow futures up 37. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday. Scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
It is 7:04. We have cloudy skies. It's 25 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Don't worry, it's going to warm up. Joe Lundberg has that story in just about 6 minutes. As KMOX first reported Monday, St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is putting a 30-day pause on negotiations to find a new temporary county headquarters.
Dr. Page says the county council has contaminated the process and notified the owners of Northwest Crossings about 3 concerns involving lobbyists and a press agent in lease negotiations. Council should leave contract negotiations to the professional staff, Page says, and he adds the council's offensive behavior to staff is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. He says negotiations will resume once the council reverses course and treats staff with civility and respect. Dr. Page says, quote, I will support a deal that is good for St. Louis County. Currently, what is before us, according to our professional staff, is not a good deal. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
We have the full press release and letter from Page to Raven Development at KMOX.com.
St. Louis County Councilman Mark Harder responding to Sam Page's accusation that the council has contaminated the process of lease negotiations.
It was a closed session, so I can't go into details, but we were unimpressed by both sides, in my opinion. And we were trying to get things kind of jump-started so we can keep this negotiation moving.
Harder says the majority of council members are not impressed with Page's lease negotiating team, which includes former St. Louis County Director of Operations Gary Earls.
KMOX continues to follow where things stand in the Florissant subdivision of Cades Cove that had 6 homes demolished because of nuclear contamination. Co-founder of Just Moms STL tells KMOX, while those homes are gone, the residents left there do not feel safe.
I would just say that the cancer rates and the claims that we're seeing definitely speak to what's going on there.
Chapman says when you look at the number of years the Army Corps of Engineers denied there was a radioactive waste there, people feel as though they're being gaslit.
The Department of Justice demanding sweeping reforms at the special school district of St. Louis County. A federal investigation found the district routinely subjected students with disabilities to dangerous seclusion and restraint practices, violating the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Over a 2-year period, the DOJ says staff secluded more than 300 students nearly 4,000 times, often for minor infractions like spilling coffee or refusing to go to class. The Justice Department has ordered SSD to immediately change practices to avoid federal litigation. District officials in a statement say they're reviewing the report and are committed to student safety.
A 16-year-old girl is missing in Madison County. Authorities say she may be with a non-custodial parent. Our partners at Fox 2 say Lily Watkins was reported missing from Fredericktown around 8:25 Sunday night. Watkins is described as white, about 5'2", 115 pounds, blonde hair, green eyes, last seen wearing glasses and gray cross-country pants. Investigators believe she may be with her biological non-custodial mother, Jessica Watkins. Officials believe Lily could be in danger and are asking anyone with information to call 911.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Southwestern Illinois College is growing a 4-year agribusiness degree with McKendree University. Under the partnership, students will complete their first 2 years of coursework at SWIC, then complete an agribusiness bachelor's degree at McKendree. The program begins this fall.
It is 7:08, and we need to get you to traffic and weather. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Hopefully after 25 years together, you trust me that I only represent good companies. Universal Windows Direct is great. They have a great deal for the DJS audience. Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. 0% interest for 36 months so you can spread out your payments, same as cash. Also $500 off your home improvement project. 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like you, me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Start your summer early at the St. Charles Boat Show, March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. The top marine dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks will be on site with the newest boats, personal watercraft, docks, and accessories. Step aboard, compare models, and find the perfect ride for your family. Special show pricing and experts ready to help make your boating dreams a reality. Visit LakeoftheOzarksBoatDealers.com for more information.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand, get the latest overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad out there right now, Tom. A few slowdowns, more not to the peak of the rush hour yet, but you have delays northbound on 55 going down from Bayless up to Road of Bear. Northbound 270 looks good through graveling now, but you are slower north of Big Bend up to Manchester, and Clayton Road up past 64 is a little heavy. Southbound 61 starting to bog down about midway between P and Wentzville Parkway onto 64 to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. After that, though, it's a good run all the way in through 170. Westbound 64 at the Interbelt looks fine as of now. Southbound 94, 64 down to D. You've got some backed up traffic there. Eastbound 70 looks great from Warrenton all the way in through the Blanchette Bridge. No issues there at all. Downtown looks okay across the Poplar, but we do have the road work westbound 64 west of 50 through 159. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Some sunshine will give way to plenty of clouds today, but it will become windy and noticeably warmer with time as our high reaches 56. It'll remain mostly cloudy tonight, though 38. Clouds and some sunshine tomorrow, a mild day, the high 58. Thursday, clouds giving way to more and more sunshine, the high 56. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got cloudy skies. It's 25 degrees downtown.
The 31st annual St. Louis Jewish Film Festival kicks off its 2026 season with a preview event tonight at the J. St. Louis Asua Taiko will perform along with a screening of Sugihara, Conspiracy of Kindness, a film from award-winning filmmaker Diane Estelle Vicari. She'll stick around for a Q&A. The film festival officially kicks off March 15th. presented by B&B Theaters with a special showing at the Alamo Drafthouse.
Plans have been approved to build a large subdivision in rural St. Charles County. Our partners at Fox 2 report the county council voted Monday night to approve plans for that subdivision on the south side of Highway N. It will include nearly 480 homes on more than 250 acres and is located across the street from Wentzville South Middle School and Timberland High School. At the council meeting last night, residents contested the plans, many bringing concerns about the already congested levels of traffic around those schools, but the St. Charles County Council passed the plans 6-1.
In Chesterfield, they're breaking ground later this morning on the new Guy and Judy Jaffe family branch of St. Louis County Library. The new library will be built on the site of the current Saks branch, which closed at the end of January and will be torn down. The new branch will be much bigger and include many more amenities like spaces for children, tweens, and teenagers, study rooms, a fireplace, and a Goshen Coffee Roasters Cafe.
A new study launched from St. Louis suggests there may be a link between children's perceptions of danger in their neighborhood and changes in their brains.
The WashU study of nearly 12,000 children ages 9 to 12 in nearly 24 communities across the U.S. revealed several things, including that kids who felt less safe in their neighborhoods had physical changes to key parts of the brain.
Yeah, the amygdala and the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex are all really important for how strongly we respond to stress, how well do we regulate our responses to stress, and are also regions that can be, damaged by chronic high levels of stress.
Co-author Deanna Barch is a professor of psychological and brain sciences at WashU. A study also tracked changes in mental health and cognition. In some cases, researchers found that kids felt less safe regardless of actual crime rates. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Starting at 5 o'clock Saturday morning, all lanes of northbound 55 at Gravois will be closed for tree removal and drain work. The ramp to westbound 44 will remain open. All lanes will reopen by 2:30 Saturday afternoon. So again, that window is 5 Saturday morning to 2:30 Saturday afternoon. During that closure, drivers will be detoured onto Gravois. The closure is weather dependent. All right, let's get to that bracket. Jerry Palm, who used to be at CBS, now has his own. It's called palmbrackets.com. Let's see if he has SLU, Illinois, and Missouri all in his field of 68. Let's start with the Billikens. They're certainly the talk right now. They're 25-2. They visit Dayton tonight, and they are in as an 8 seed, he says, taking on SMU, the 9 seed, in Greenville on March 19th and 21st, first and second rounds in the East region. Who's the number 1 seed out there, you ask? That would be Duke. So if SLU, according to Jerry, were to get through SMU, they would play Duke in the second round. He has Illinois in the same bracket, same site too, Greenville, as the number 2 seed taking on Navy. So the 1 out there, Duke, 2 Illinois, 3 Florida, and 4 Texas Tech. That's a pretty tough region with SLU as the 8. Does he have Mizzou in? Yes, he does. He has Missouri in as well, currently as an 11 seed taking on Villanova. So what Jerry's doing there is predicting that Missouri is going to get its 2 more SEC wins that it needs to go 10-8 in the conference. That should get them in to the field of 68. Mizzou taking on Villanova in the first round in Oklahoma City, according to Jerry. And looking at who he thinks will be in St. Louis March 20th and 22nd for the first and second rounds, he has a 2 seed Purdue. He has a 2 seed Iowa State. He has Wisconsin as a 7 taking on Texas A&M. And he also has Utah State, a 7 seed taking on Santa Clara. He also included East Tennessee State in there as a 15 as the teams he thinks will make it to St. Louis. There's a long way to go, including SLU's game tonight at Dayton, 6 o'clock tip-off, 5:45 pregame here on KMOX. And on the other side of things, you have Mizzou playing tonight at 8 o'clock. They're going to take on number 22 Tennessee at Mizzou Arena in Columbia. Now, let's go to baseball.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And by Happy Roof, we always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Reigning Cardinals minor league pitcher of the year Bryson Motts makes his Grapefruit League debut, throwing 2 scoreless innings out of the bullpen. Motts in his first inning works himself into and out of trouble, stranding 2 runners. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to see him in game action.
I actually thought he did a nice job. It's good to be able to kind of see him in a variety of different situations. It's just I want to see how they respond to when things aren't perfect. But no, I thought he did a really nice job.
Motts is someone that could potentially help the Cardinals bullpen or could head to the minors and continue to work as a starter. Marmol says long-term implications need to be considered when making roster decisions involving young players.
Like when Heim says not choosing the short term over the long term, that's a really good example of it. You're asking about Mouse. Like he fits into
not
that.
Just him, but he does, definitely.
Like that's a real one, right?
Yeah.
And you have to consider the upside of where we're heading and the value in that over just a short-term fix that may stunt the growth of a player.
All 72 of Motts' minor league appearances have been starts, but he could possibly make his major league debut this season working out of the Cardinals bullpen. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinals Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Did you see the forecast? Another huge storm is tracking right for us.
I saw. Honestly, I'm not worried.
Not worried. Your roof is older than mine.
I called Happy Roof. They did a pre-storm inspection, caught a loose flashing that would have caused a major leak.
Wow, I really need that peace of mind.
Protect your happy place before the rain starts.
Booking my free inspection at thehappyroof.com or call 314-897-2310. It's all about the happy ending.
You know what else goes with baseball? Ted Drew's frozen custard. And the Chippewa location is now open. It's a St. Louis tradition. Ted Drew's frozen custard since 1929. This is the 97th season of Ted Drew's concretes, malts, shakes, sundaes, floats, ice cream sodas. Did you know they have all that? I only knew about concretes and maybe sundaes. I didn't know they did all the ice cream sodas and all that stuff. Quarts are also available. Ted Drew's isn't just a custard stand, folks. It is a 4th-generation family-run business built on quality, service, and a love for St. Louis. I'd say the odds are pretty good that you have been to Ted Drew's. If you haven't, get there. It is incredibly delicious due to its rich and creamy texture, perfected recipe, premium ingredients. You know what the secret is? Honey. Pure honey, locally sourced. That is what makes it taste so good. It's unforgettable. It's Ted Drew's frozen custard for generations. The address is 6726 Chippewa. They also have a gift shop across the parking lot. Ted Drew's frozen custard. By the way, they're hiring. Ted Drew's.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:21. Let's get you updated on your ride in, and we'll take a look at the weather as well, which is warming up as we head through the week. That's your little bit of good news. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's busier, but not bad, Debbie, on the highways. If you're traveling up on the south side, northbound Highway 55, the right lanes are bogged down. Mattis up to North 270. The ramp to North 270 is backed up. But once you get on North 270, it's just slow from there up to about Sappington, both sides of Gravois, right through 44, most of the way to Manchester, and then north of Manchester, right approaching Clayton Road up to Ladue, another slower stretch. Southbound 61, you've got heavy traffic from Highway P down onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, Chesterfield Parkway West to about Timberlake, westbound 64 to city limits. That's getting a little busier. Eastbound 70 still looks great from Warrenton all the way across the Blanchette Bridge. No issue there. Northbound 55, usual slow stuff, Union Road overpass to River to Pear. Westbound 64 back to seeing a little heavy traffic on the Poplar, and it's slow from 50 through 159 in that work zone. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says some sun followed by clouds today. Will be windy, but noticeably warmer, a high of 56, mostly cloudy, low 38 tonight. Tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, a high of 58. Let's look ahead at Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 56 Thursday, 69 Friday, 66 for the high on Saturday with plenty of sun. Currently, we have a cloudy sky in downtown St. Louis, and it's a little chilly out there. 26 feels like 13 at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22. The St. Louis Battlehawks opened their 2026 training camp yesterday at UFL headquarters in Arlington, Texas. All 8 UFL teams are having their training camp at the league's centralized football operations facility in Arlington. The Battlehawks home opener will be Saturday, March 28th against the DC Defenders.
The UFL's trying to calm the fears of those who worry that a Battlehawks move to Energizer Park would destroy the grass there. Owner Mike Repole says the league already shares facilities in 5 other markets and is prepared to take full responsibility for the maintenance of the pitch.
In fact, after we play, the field's going to be in better shape because we're in charge of all that.
Repole says the league uses specialized crews to ensure the turf remains at a professional standard for both football and soccer.
St. Louis City SC redirecting its resources toward local fan events now that the area has lost its bid for a World Cup training camp. President Diego Giuliani says the club's internal focus has shifted toward turning the stadium into a hub for first-time viewers.
Unfortunately, it is looking increasingly unlikely that we're going to be selected for a base camp.
The club is promising a massive schedule of watch parties and youth programs to capitalize on the tournament's energy. Giuliani says their goal is to make sure the region still feels like a part of the global tournament.
I mean, bringing a team to base camp has been an important focus over many months, as I mentioned, but there's so many other things we have planned. And, we've got watch parties. We're going to do a lot of grassroots soccer. We're going to create a lot of content celebrating World Cup in moments, trying to do some, post-World Cup activations to bring first-time fans into our building. So there's a lot of stuff that fans are going to see and be able to participate in.
A bill at play in Congress would create regional defense technology hubs, one of which may come to the St. Louis region. The bill is co-sponsored by Missouri Congressman Wesley Bell, who says it has bipartisan support. Bell tells Missouri Net the bill would allow the Department of Defense to create a network of development centers or hubs, and those hubs would focus on creating and advancing emergency defense technology.
What we're seeing is that our adversaries are investing heavily in these technologies, and we cannot afford to lose our military and strategic advantage and edge. We just can't.
Bell says a hub in the St. Louis region would also boost the local economy, especially when it comes to jobs.
As a former educator, many of my best and brightest students felt that they had to leave the region for better opportunities. And I think it's time that we start creating those pathways right here, creating those opportunities right here so that we can keep our best and brightest, but also attract folks back to this region.
The bill currently sits in the U.S. House.
Many are aware that heart attacks don't always look the same for men as they do for women. And now there's new research finding heart attack risk can vary by gender as well.
For years, heart disease has often been treated like a plumbing problem, with larger blockages seen as the biggest threat. But new research from the PROMISE trial shows that can be misleading, especially for female patients with heart disease. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
Women tend to have smaller coronary arteries, so the same amount of plaque takes up more space. Think of it like narrowing a 1-lane road versus a 4-lane highway. The traffic jam shows up sooner. There's also the issue of where and how plaque forms. Women are more likely to have a disease that's spread out or that affects smaller blood vessels, the kind you can't always see as a dramatic blockage on a scan.
Dr. Gounder says for women, risk may show up earlier, which means we may need to think earlier about prevention efforts like statins, blood pressure control, and lifestyle changes, even when a blockage does not look dramatic. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Also, state purchasing documents are showing Missouri is looking to build a new statewide marijuana education campaign. According to a recent request for contractors spotted by the Post-Dispatch, the Department of Health and Senior Services wants the initiative to focus on how cannabis impacts adolescent brain development and mental health. The proposed campaign would also educate adults on safe home storage and the risks of over-consuming edibles.
A group of Kirkwood residents trying to save an historic home on Taylor Avenue from demolition have filed a lawsuit. The Marquitz Garish House was built in 1858, resides in the North Taylor Historic District of Kirkwood, and is on the National Register of Historic Places.
The suit, according to the Business Journal, says the city of Kirkwood is required to enforce the protection of historic properties. The Yanel Tracy Sorkin Self-Declaration Trust purchased the property a year ago and then applied for a demolition permit. The city's Landmarks Commission gave it the maximum review period allowed, which expired last night.
It is now 7:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You need to get your eyes checked. It's really important, and not just to make sure that you can read that eye chart to make sure that your glasses or contact prescription is okay. There's so much more to it. So if all you've done over the years is read that eye chart, well, I'm telling you, there is a whole nother world that will open to you at Ophthalmology Associates. Ophthalmology Associates, they are the doctors, experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. This will be the most thorough eye exam that you have ever had, because it is about more than the eye chart. It's about the health of your eyes and what it can say about the health of you overall. And when you catch things early, the ability to treat issues is much easier for you and for everyone. Cataracts, glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, dry eye, allergic conjunctivitis. They are available to you at youridoc.com. They are doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer. Call 314-966-5000 or find them online now at youridoc.com.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99, plus 2 times points at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
At 7:30, cloudy, 26 degrees, feels like 13 downtown. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, getting out the door and getting going. We're getting busier on the highways. If you're traveling north on Highway 55, the right lanes are bogging down, approaching Butler Hill. So it's almost midway between Merrimack Bottom. Well, it's just called approaching Butler Hill, really up to the North 270 exit. After that, you're looking at heavy traffic from the Union Road overpass all the way up through Virginia. Northbound 270, once you get on from 55, there's just a little slowdown at Gravois, but 44, most of the way up to 64 is pretty busy. South 270, approaching Olive is a little slow, but doesn't look bad on that run so far. Southbound 61, midway down from Highway P to Wentzville Parkway onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow. East of Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out to Big Bend. There's a slower run going through there. Eastbound 70, the right lanes are a little busy at Z. It's a little slow approaching TR Hughes, but really eastbound 70 is pretty much in the clear downtown. Westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplars, a little slower, and it's a backup now on westbound 64 from 50 through 159. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says some sun followed by clouds today. Windy, noticeably warmer, high 56. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 38. Tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, a high 58. Currently, it's 26, feels like 13 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:31.
If they're not open to a little criticism, then they need to get a little thicker skin, in my opinion.
St. Louis County Councilman Mark Harder reacting to County Executive Sam Page, accusing the council of contaminating the negotiating process of finding a new building for operations. Page ordered a 30-day halt on negotiations until the council is more respectful to the negotiating team.
We're trying to give some direction and to let them know what we were interested in. And so that was the purpose of the meeting.
Harder says last week's meeting was a closed hearing, so he can't say much more, but he did say a majority of members do not think Gary Earls, the former county operations director, should be on that negotiating team.
2 Christian County deputies were killed and 2 others injured during a shootout in the Ozarks on Monday. As reported by the Springfield Daily Citizen, it began around 4 p.m. Monday afternoon when 45-year-old Richard Dean Bird shot and killed a Christian County deputy during a traffic stop. Bird then fled the scene.
When authorities found the suspect's abandoned pickup truck and approached him, Bird immediately opened fire on them, killing another deputy and injuring 2 others. He continued to shoot at officers who returned fire and killed him.
A 16-year-old girl is missing in Madison County. Authorities say she may be with a non-custodial parent. Our partners at Fox 2 say Lily Watkins was reported missing from Fredericktown around 8:25 p.m. on Sunday. Watkins, again 16 years old, described as white, about 5'2", 115 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. She was last seen wearing glasses and gray cross-country pants. Investigators believe she may be in the company of her biological non-custodial mother, Jessica Watkins. Officials say Lily is believed to be in danger, and they ask anyone with information to call 911.
It is 7:33. We'll be back in just a moment with your money report from Bloomberg. This is Total Information AM.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's go.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's workiversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
7:35. Let's check business. Sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Investors have been ditching software stocks on worries that artificial intelligence will massively disrupt the industry. Much of the fear is centered around new AI tools that help people write software code. If anyone can create their own applications, that could diminish demand for products from big software makers. That weighed on stocks yesterday. The Dow tumbled 822 points. This morning, stock futures are on the rise. However, shares of Hims and Hers Health are dropping in the early trade on concern over whether the company can keep selling copycat weight loss drugs. The telehealth company gave a weaker financial outlook than Wall Street expected. And Americans are still eating beef, even with prices at all-time highs. Folks are projected to consume the most beef in more than 15 years this year. However, many are looking for cheaper options in restaurants and at the store. Restaurants are sourcing lower-grade cuts of beef, and ground beef is appearing more on menus. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors, 636-441-7470, or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
The Missouri Valley Conference Men's Basketball Tournament has been the showcase for buzzer beaters, madness, and championship glory. With nearly 5 decades of heart-racing excitement, it begins here at Enterprise Center. The 2026 State Farm MVC Tournament, presented by Credit Union One, Great Southern Bank, and SSM Health, tips off on March 5th through 8th. Celebrate 50 years of the Valley's postseason championship. Get your tickets now at archmadness.com.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com. Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
It's exhibition preseason baseball today as the Cards take on the Nationals. Pregame 4:55, first pitch 5:05. And you can hear the game on 11:20 a.m. KMOX, the voice of the Cardinals.
It is 7:39. Let's get you to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. No doubt there's more traffic out there right now if you're just heading out the door. We get the latest from Roger Brand.
Yeah, it's pretty much the peak rush hour time now, Debbie. In fact, there's a lot more slow going, but it's not terrible. I mentioned a little bit of a backup northbound 55 getting on North 270 in the last report. There was a crash that cleared to the shoulder. Not blocking, but that may be why the ramp's a little backed up. And, of course, the right lanes are slow through Butler Hill to that point. And once you get past that point, from the Union Road overpass up to about Virginia, there's heavy pockets where it bunches up. Northbound 270, basically Gravois up to about Clayton Road's pretty busy, and then just right through that 64 Ladue area a little slow. Southbound 270, passing 364 in between Olive and Ladue, it's kind of heavy. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkland to 64, the Boulevard, that's slow. We'll call it East of Boone's Crossing through Clarkson opens up before you get to Timberlake. Then there's just a brief delay at the Interbelt. The Interbelt South 170 busy from about Ladue to 64. Westbound 64 backed up from the Science Center through Hampton. From there, it's slow to Big Bend, and it's also a little slow from Lindbergh out to Spady. Eastbound 70 looks great from Warrenton, really all the way into downtown. Not seeing any delays at all. Downtown, westbound 64 slower from the 70 split headed across the Poplar, and it's backed up west of 50 through 159 in that work zone as well. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I just watched on our partners at Fox 2 some folks promoting the Special Olympics polar plunge on Saturday. They just went into Creve Coeur Lake and then ran out. I mean, that is crazy.
Saturday, I might consider doing it.
I mean,
Today,
that's not really a polar plunge, Joe Lundberg. I mean, come on, man. That's unbelievable that they just went in there just now. It's freezing out there.
It's in the 20s right now. That's just nuts. But more power to them. Saturday, I mean, the water's not going to be any different. It's still going to be cold, but at least the air temperature won't be so bad. We're going to get into the 60s Friday and Saturday. Today, a lot more clouds and sun. The wind will be picking up. It's already starting to stir right now, and temperature will jump to 56 this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies tonight. I think we hold in the upper 30s. Clouds, some sun again, maybe upper 50s, mid 50s with some sunshine on Thursday. Friday and Saturday, those are the pick of the week. Sunshine up to 69 Friday, mid 60s on Saturday with plenty of sunshine. Right now it's 26 at St. Peter's, 25 in Florissant. I'll call it bright, but still pretty cloudy, and 26 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 7:42. We've told you recently about reports of problems with medical devices that use artificial intelligence. Now, a St. Louis County lawmaker wants to include negligent use of artificial intelligence in medical malpractice claims.
Artificial intelligence is changing the way medicine is practiced, and this raises new questions about how to use it safely and who can be held accountable when something goes wrong.
State Senator Doug Beck tells Total Information AM his legislation would cover negligent AI use in everything from diagnosis to treatment.
Should the state of Missouri publicly list every registered voter online, including address, date of birth, and voter ID number? That's what a bill proposed by Granby Republican State Senator Jill Carter would require. In committee, senators on both sides of the aisle questioned it, citing privacy concerns.
Those lists are public record and can be obtained by filing a Sunshine Law request and paying a small fee. But Carter says putting it on a website would help poll watchers. Senator Sandy Crawford, a Republican from Buffalo, said it seems like a lot of identifiable information when we have so many concerns about fraud and everything else.
IDOT is telling motorists to expect delays for ongoing intermittent nighttime lane closures on Illinois 158 between Highway 50 and 161. Drivers are encouraged to find alternate routes. That project is expected to be completed by the summer.
Well, it looks like we didn't glue ourselves to the TV watching the Olympics. NBC is hyping an average of 23 million viewers over the 2 weeks in Milan, but that's still about the same as Monday Night Football gets, and about 12 million fewer than the average weekly audience for Stranger Things on Netflix. Either way, it was the most watched Winter Olympics since Sochi in 2014 and double the eyeballs of the disastrous 2022 games in Beijing.
Well, I mean, ratings are what they are. All I know is everywhere I went, the Olympics were on TV. In fact, I won't name the place, but there was a sports bar I walked into, and a big-time Billikens game was going on. And what were they watching? Curling. So, I mean, because people were watching the Olympics.
I mean, when else can you watch curling on TV, honestly?
Yeah, I mean,
just once every 4 years.
Yeah, this is what it is. I mean, yeah, exactly. 7:45. Speaking of the Billikens, this is a big game tonight. 6 o'clock tip-off for SLU at Dayton. It's a 5:45 pregame. Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. Why is this so big? Because SLU absolutely smoked Dayton the last time they played him, and these two are big rivals. I'm certain Dayton didn't appreciate that. 102-71 at Chaffetz Arena. Since then, they've been a lot better. They've had a good February. They opened up with a win over St. Bonaventure. They got pounded by VCU on the road, but they've won 3 in a row, as I mentioned to Coach Josh Schertz.
3 straight double-digit wins against 3 good teams. Beat Davidson, went to George Mason, won by double digits, and then beat Duquesne at home by double digits. So 3 straight really good wins for them. Playing much better basketball. We know what we're walking into there. That's a very proud program. Tradition rich, 13,000 plus every night. So we'll have to, we're going to walk into a hornet's nest, on Tuesday night. We'll have to be ready to go from the jump, and it's a great opportunity for our guys. We had we knew that this kick stretch was going to be, really difficult. VCU at home, at Dayton, we got Duquesne at home. We got to go to George Mason. We know what's ahead of us. And so we knew going in this 5-game stretch run was going to be the real deal, and we need this. And looking forward to our guys. We got a great chance to build on a terrific win and go into a tough environment and see what we're made of.
Josh Schertz on KMOX. He will play tonight as the Billikens team takes on Dayton. That game is going to be on 104.1 FM as we will carry the Cardinals on 11:20 a.m. tonight. The Cardinals are playing their first night game of spring training. They'll be taking on the Washington Nationals down at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches in West Palm Beach. We'll have that for you at 5:05 with a 4:55 pregame. Again, the Cardinals on 11:20 a.m. and the Billikens on 104.1 FM. It's also a big night tonight for Mizzou. They could use a win at home against Tennessee. If they do that, they'll be well on their way to a spot in the NCAA tournament. They still have some work to do, but Missouri has 8 SEC wins. Conventional wisdom is if they can get to 10, they should be in good shape. They play tonight at 8 o'clock at home against number 22 Tennessee. Speaking of baseball, let's get back to Jupiter. KMOX's Matt Pauley.
The Cardinals collect their second win of Grapefruit League play, defeating Miami 5-4 in walk-off fashion, way before a group of minor leaguers pull off the comeback. Michael McGreevy makes the start. He gives up a home run in the first batter he faces when accidentally using batting practice balls that were not rubbed up. After that, they get the correct baseballs, and McGreevy sails through the rest of his 2-inning outing. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks it's a good starting spot for McGreevy.
I thought he did a nice job. He mixed well. I know he's been working a little bit more on the depthiness of the slider. So overall, he felt good, something we can build off of.
Giving up the home run and then locking back in is another example of McGreevy dealing well with adversity, something Marmol feels is a skill that McGreevy has.
He doesn't seem bothered by a whole lot, and that's really cool to see out of a young guy. It's not that things don't bother him, but he stays locked in. Everyone's going to experience something throughout the course of a game that throws you off. The skill is to refocus, and he does that really quickly.
McGreevy's final line is 1 run on 2 hits with 2 strikeouts and no walks in 2 innings. In Jupiter, Florida at Cardinal Spring Training, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. Now, you can pick that up at supplement superstores, and quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism, gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings, and man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Is your furnace on its last legs? Don't wait for a cold night to find out. Jerry Kelly and KMOX are giving you the chance to win a brand new furnace this winter season. Just go online to KMOX.com/contest through March 1st and nominate someone who you think deserves a brand new furnace. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Win a brand new furnace. For more information and contest rules, just head to KMOX.com/contest.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50 time for traffic and weather. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it hasn't been a bad morning, just busy. But other than that, it's not anything to really complain about. But you have a lot of slow traffic. Northbound 55, the right lanes north of Butler Hill. All lanes stop and go pockets from the Union Order overpass to about Virginia. It's slow as you ramp onto North 270. Then it's a little slow at Gravois. Approaching 44, though, pretty much all the way up to Ladue. In fact, there's a backup north of 44 to Big Bend in the middle of all of that. But it's just sort of bogged down all the way up into the mid-county area there, town and country. Southbound 270, approaching 364 to Ladue. That's heavy. Eastbound Highway 70, still looking great. Eastbound 64, Boone's Crossing to about Timberlake. There's still a couple of slowdowns. McKnight to Big Bend. South 170, that's slower from Olive now down to 64. Westbound 64 backed up. Science Center through Bellevue, slow to about Big Bend. It's slow Lindbergh to Ballas as well. Westbound 44, Grand through Kings Highway is kind of heavy. Westbound 64, you've got that backup 50 through 159, and then it's slow approaching the 70 split headed across the Poplar. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's going to be a good day today. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we are going to warm up. No, it doesn't feel like it right now, but some sun followed by clouds, windy, noticeably warmer this afternoon, a high of 56. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low 38. Tomorrow, we're back up to 58, says Joe. Thursday, 56. Lots of sunshine after some early clouds. Friday, plenty of sunshine, a warm afternoon. We're close to 70 on Friday, and Saturday, mostly sunny and pleasant, and a high of 66. Currently, it's chilly out there, no doubt about it. It's in the 20s, 27 degrees in Florissant, 28 in St. Peter's. It's 27, feels like 12 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:52. Once a bright spot for job creation, the job market in the St. Louis technology sector struggled last year, with job postings across 56 core tech occupations dropping 25%. The report from Tech STL frames it as a realignment as employers react to AI, consolidation, and cost pressures.
According to the Business Journal, the St. Louis area's tech labor market declined faster than U.S. average over most metrics. The most in-demand tech job in the metro is for computer and information systems managers. The roles with the biggest decline, web developers down 48% and graphic designers down 85%.
There could be a light at the end of the tunnel for tech layoffs. KCBS's Kathy Whitman reports on what could help the turnaround.
Every week we're hearing about layoffs at yet another tech company, but now there are signs this could be turning around. Former director of California's Employment Development Department, Michael Bernick.
We finally seem to have recalibrated after overhiring in the post-pandemic period.
Tech industry analyst Rob Enderle says new technologies could offer openings for people who learn new skills.
Quantum computing, robotics, AGI, any of those three things could do it. And we've got a new battery technology that's coming forward as well.
Jobs are competitive, but companies are starting to hire. Kathy Whitman for CBS News, San Francisco.
The Supreme Court ruling against Donald Trump's tariffs is unlikely to mean an end to trade policy chaos. That rebuke of the president's most sweeping tariffs means he can't conjure up more new import taxes on a whim, but the justice's ruling is still unlikely to ease the uncertainty over Trump's trade policy that has paralyzed businesses over the past year.
How will the president use other laws to reconstruct the tariffs knocked down by the Supreme Court? What does the decision mean for the trade deals Trump strong-armed other countries into accepting, using his now defunct tariffs as leverage? And can importers collect refunds for the tariffs they paid last year? And if so, how? Those questions all still remain.
And while we wait for those answers, Chicago has new names for their snowplows and a lot of personality.
Mayor Brandon Johnson and the Chicago Department of Streets and Sanitation announced the 6 winners of this year's You Name a Snowplow contest, the 4th annual competition, which saw record participation. More than 13,000 names were submitted and nearly 39,000 people cast votes. The top vote getters: Abolish Ice, Stephen Colbert, Pope Frio XIV, The Blizzard of Oz, Sven Cooley, and Caleb Chilliams. An honorable mention, Chance the Scraper missed the top 6 by less than 0.25%. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Hold on there, Chicago. We'll take that Blizzard of Oz. Thank you very much. The Ozzy's ours. Okay. Thank you.
I like
Appreciate
this Sven Cooley. I don't know. I grew up in Chicago. And I don't know if they did this nationally, if it was a local thing, but did they have Son of Sven Cooley here? Son of Sven Cooley was this weird guy who hosted Saturday afternoon horror movies on Channel 32. I was a big horror movie fan as a kid. So Sven Cooley. They should have made it Snow of Sven Cooley. Anyway.
Pretty clever, regardless. It's 7:56.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, February 19th or Tuesday, February 24th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like nuclear reactor safety expert.
I disabled the backup cooling system. It was making such an annoying noise. You heard it, right? It was like,
We're on a countdown to core failure.
And you're saying we don't want that?
This is a job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Get ready, St. Louis area. The St. Charles Boat Show is here March 5th through 8th at the St. Charles Convention Center. See the top dealers from the Lake of the Ozarks and climb aboard your next dream boat. New models, great deals, and summer fun starts here. Visit LakeOfTheOzarksBoatDealers.com for details.
Roger Brand joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traveling on northbound Highway 55, just a little slow ramping onto North 270 from the earlier crash, but it's a pretty solid backup now from the Union Road overpass all the way up to Loughborough, bumper to bumper through there. North 270 north of Gravois, pretty much all the way up to Ladue is slow. South 270, just a little busy approaching Olive, so that's not bad. Eastbound 70, finally seeing a little slowdown, just 94 to 5th Street, though. Eastbound 64 coming out of the valley to about Timberlake's heavy. McKnight in through Big Bend. South 170, Olive through to Delmar, and then it's the Parkway to 64, westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley's heavy as well. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's a cold one out there, but AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we are going to warm up. A high of 56 today, sun followed by clouds, windy and noticeably warmer. And cloudy tonight, low 38, a high of 58 tomorrow. Currently, it's 27 degrees and cloudy, feels like 12. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey.
The county executive accusing council members of contaminating real estate negotiations. I'm Maria Aquino with the story.
Megan Lynch is coming up next on KMOX's Total Information AM. And then I'll be back for the Gas House Gang after Chris and Amy. Bernie Miklasz joins us on Tuesdays. That's always a lot of fun. We're going to really get into it today. A lot of topics to discuss on KMOX.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Amy,
yes.
I have a real beef with bathroom doors in hotels. The stupid sliding door. No, give me a fully shut door, because the sliding door, you know what happens? There's always a gap.
There's a gap.
And so if you have a partner with you in the hotel room, there are sounds and smells and steam.
It puts a new meaning to the word butt crack.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The scrape and chuck of shovels rings out up and down the Northeast a day after a historic winter storm.
The paralyzing storm, a blizzard in some areas, dumped snow from Maryland to Maine. In some cities, the accumulation record was shattered, immobilizing transit. Thousands of flights were canceled or delayed as the storm upended daily routines in some of the nation's biggest cities, including Boston, Philadelphia, and New York, which had its first snow day in 6 years. Providence, Rhode Island got a record 37 inches of snow.
Seeing pretty much a lot of snow, a very lot of snow. And
temperatures are very cold when that wind blows.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are weighing in on tonight's State of the Union address. Louisiana's Republican Congressman Steve Scalise on CBS Mornings.
It's going to be a real sharp focus on exactly what the president has been doing, working with Congress to make life more affordable for working families.
Michigan's Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin tells CBS.
If he can wave his hands and try to make you believe what he wants you to believe, the American people aren't stupid. They know that they are spending more this year than they did last year.
President Trump is expected to zero in on the economy during the first State of the Union of his second term. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill set to vote on the first major bill responding to last year's deadly crash between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
It's a safety recommendation the NTSB has been pushing for years. The safety board found in their investigation, had that American Airlines regional jet been equipped with this ADSB in, the pilots would have had about a minute to identify the approaching helicopter.
Today marks 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. President Zelensky spoke in Kyiv.
What can I say? We need peace, but we have to prepare to any other kind of challenges from Russian side.
Former CBS News Moscow bureau chief Beth Noble.
I don't think anyone thought this war would drag on for 4 years when it began, or that Ukraine would be able to hold out against the Russian war machine for this long.
One brand of weight loss drugs will become a little more affordable next year. Novo Nordisk, smarting from competition from Eli Lilly, says it'll cut list prices for Wegovy and Ozempic by as much as half in January of 2027. They'll go down to $675 a month. Lilly already sells its Zepbound for about $450 for a 30-day supply. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 28 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, February 24th. I'm Megan Lynch. A scathing Justice Department report accuses the Special School District of St. Louis of using isolation and physical restraints as a catch-all punishment. The investigation found one student was secluded 186 times in a single school year. In other instances, students engaged in serious self-harm, including tying shoelaces around their necks while locked in isolation for hours. The DOJ also criticized the district for being uncooperative during the probe, including delaying records and blocking school visits. A 16-year-old girl missing in Madison County. Authorities say she may be with a non-custodial parent. Our partners at Fox 2 say Lily Watkins was reported missing from Fredericktown around 8:25 Sunday. Watkins is described as white, about 5 feet 2 inches tall, 115 pounds, with blonde hair and green eyes. She was last seen wearing glasses and gray cross-country pants. Investigators believe she may be in the company of her biological non-custodial mother, Jessica Watson. Officials say Lily is believed to be in danger and ask anyone with information to call 911. 2 Christian County deputies were killed, 2 others injured during a shootout in the Ozarks Monday. As reported by the Springfield Daily Citizen, it began around 4 Monday afternoon when 45-year-old Richard Dean Byrd shot and killed a Christian County deputy during a traffic stop. That's what's alleged. Byrd then fled the scene. When authorities found the suspect's abandoned pickup truck and approached him, Byrd immediately opened fire on them, killing a deputy and injuring 2 others. He continued to shoot at officers who returned fire and killed him. The 31st annual St. Louis Jewish Film Festival kicks off its 2026 season with a preview event tonight at the J. St. Louis Sawataki will perform along with a screening of Sugihara, Conspiracy of Kindness, a film from award-winning filmmaker Diane Estelle Vicari. She'll stick around for a Q&A. The film festival officially kicks off March 15th, presented by B&B Theaters with a special showing at the Alamo Draft House. Plans have been approved to build a large subdivision in rural St. Charles County. Our partners at Fox 2 report the county council voted Monday night to approve plans for a large subdivision on the south side of Highway N. The subdivision will include nearly 480 homes on more than 250 acres of land. It's located across the street from Wentzville South Middle School and Timberland High School. St. Charles County Council passed the plans 6-1. They're breaking ground later this morning on the new Guy and Judy Jaffe family branch of St. Louis County Library. The new library will be built on the site of the current Saks branch, which closed at the end of January and will be torn down. The new branch will be much bigger and include many more amenities, such as spaces for children, tweens, and teenagers, study rooms, a fireplace, and a Goshen Coffee Roasters Cafe. A group of Kirkwood residents trying to save a historic home on Taylor Avenue from demolition, they filed a lawsuit. The Marquitz Garashi house was built in 1858 in North Taylor Historic District. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. The suit, according to the Business Journal, says the city of Kirkwood is required to enforce the protection of historic properties. The Annell Tracy Sorkin Self-Declaration Trust purchased the property a year ago and then applied for a demolition permit. The city's Landmarks Commission gave it the maximum review period allowed, which expired last night. St. Louis has been ruled out as a home base for national teams during the 2025 World Cup. City SC President Diego Gigliani says that because St. Louis isn't an official match host, the travel schedule is a deal breaker for international teams.
We're not a host city, right? So teams are looking at the group stage games after their draw, and they're trying to be located in a city where they at least can avoid one travel.
National teams are instead opting for cities where they are already scheduled to play to simplify their tournament schedules. From the KMOX Business Desk, Southwestern Illinois College is growing a 4-year agribusiness degree with McHenry University. Under the partnership, students will complete their first 2 years of coursework at SWIC, then complete an agribusiness bachelor's degree at McHenry. The program begins this fall. It's 8:08, still ahead on Total Information AM. County Executive Sam Page blasting the county council over lease negotiations for office space. We'll have more on that, plus reaction. Maria Kina will have more in-depth, plus traffic and weather. It's 8:08.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
At Gray Bar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Gray Bar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's get you to work and school. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger, how's it look out there?
Well, there's still a little bit of a backup, Megan, on northbound Highway 55 from Bayless up through River to Pear. After that, it's not so bad. Still a little slow ramping on to North C70 where we had an earlier minor crash. It was cleared out of the roadway a while ago. Bogged down approaching Gravois pretty much all the way to Ladue. South C70 just a little busy passing 364. It really didn't look that bad there. Eastbound 70 is wide open all the way from Wentzville to downtown. Eastbound 64 is still a little slow at Clarkson. McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 Hampton out to Hanley's heavy. It's a little slow at Lindbergh. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Eastbound 44 Elm up to Laclede Station and Hampton to Kings Highway is heavy. They're looking at road work westbound 44 through there. It's jammed west of Grand out through Kings Highway. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 west of 50 through 159, you're on the brakes, and then it's slow from 3rd Street to the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Some sun will give way to clouds today. It'll become windy and noticeably warmer this afternoon with a high of 56, and mostly cloudy tonight. The winds will back down to low 38. Clouds and some sun tomorrow, the high 58. Thursday, clouds breaking for more and more sunshine, the high 56. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have cloudy skies this morning, 28 degrees in Floreston. It's 27 in St. Peters and 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The St. Louis County Executive has ordered a halt to lease talks at the former Northwest Plaza Mall, saying the county council has contaminated the process. The county is weighing whether to move more operations to that site as it considers what to do about necessary upgrades to the current headquarters in Clayton. The original lease with the mall owners took place during Steve Stanger's administration. In a statement Monday, County Executive Sam Page questioned the involvement of lobbyists in the lease negotiation process. He criticized the county council for, quote, interjecting itself into the contract negotiations. And Page also accused the council of offensive behavior toward county staff that's leading the negotiations, stating that updates to the council will stop until the council commits to treating staff with civility and respect. Our Maria Kina asked Councilman Mark Carter what happened in last week's closed session meeting about the lease.
When he says contaminated the process, and when he talks about the contentious nature of it and the fact that there was some issue with the council not showing enough respect, and essentially saying that this is not going to go forward as a result of that until the council comes around. Was it contentious at any point? Was there problems there between the council and the negotiating staff?
No, I wouldn't call it that, but I think we all voiced our opinions of where how this was moving along or not moving along, I should say. So if they're not open to a little criticism, then they need to get a little thicker skin, in my opinion. But we were trying to give some direction and to let them know what we were interested in. And so that was the purpose of the meeting.
Is the council behind going out to Northwest Crossings?
Well, it was a choice that Mr. Page's people brought to us. We had two choices a number of months ago, and we picked that as the better choice to move ahead and to get more details and to negotiate on our behalf. And that's where we are. We had a different property that was presented to us, and we all toured it, and we thought this was a better fit, and that's why we pursued this property at this point. But we weren't going to say yes or no until we saw the details and saw what the actual, all the details of the deal would be. So that's what we've been trying to do, and that's what we've been hoping that staff would professionally approach this in a way that would get us a good deal for the residents of St. Louis County.
I've been there when, certainly just at the regular council meetings, when it does get pretty contentious with the council and the county executive. The only person that generally isn't involved in it is Lisa Clancy. So is this appropriate that the council should be involved with these negotiations and then have it get maybe a little heated?
I don't know. I think we need to have our voice. We represent the people. We're elected by our 7 different districts to represent the people. And unfortunately, this administration is very lacking in leadership and, in my opinion, feckless when it comes to dealing with the operations of this government. So when they don't do what they're supposed to be doing on a regular basis, then it's up to the council to step in and just try to straighten things out. And I think that's what happened in this case. And it's happened in other cases as well.
You mentioned about Gary Earls, him bringing Gary Earls in. Did it have to do with the people that were brought in on the negotiating team or what they were proposing?
No, I think it was just their ability to put together a deal and to negotiate it properly and have the ability to put this together at this point. That's what we've been kind of frustrated with. These are supposed to be professionals, highly paid, and it's been very frustrating to pull this whole project together.
So what's next now? Now that there's a 30-day pause.
Well, we'll go on to another crisis that this administration has created, and we'll come back to this one probably in 30 days. We have to do something, and we got to keep the ball moving down the field, so to speak. But there'll be another crisis. We've got things going on at the jail and other things. It seems to be pretty much a crisis of the week, and we'll move on to something like that, and then we'll come back to this.
Is anything really solved with the way there's such animosity towards the county executive?
Well, I think it's more frustration in that it's him and his team are not very good at managing a government, much less anything else. And so when there's a vacuum of leadership, others are going to step up. And we've seen that with our council, as we get very frustrated with how this government is being done. And we're the ones that get the calls from the residents when their tax checks are not cashing on time, or their tax bill is screwed up, or all these type of things, or their potholes are not getting filled. And we're the ones that get the call from that, because the Page administration doesn't take those calls that I know of. And so we're the people that bear the brunt of our anger and frustration of the residents of the county, and we're tired of it.
What do you want county residents to know now that there's this 30-day pause, yet another delay in finding a place for the people's work to be done?
Well, this is on them. I mean, we'll continue to move ahead, and we'll wait to see what they come up with in 30 days.
For Total Information AM, I'm Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Thanks for listening this morning to Total Information AM. Still ahead this hour, U.S. government is telling Americans in Mexico they need to shelter in place as a result of cartel violence. We'll get the latest on what's happening there. It's also been 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. We're going to get perspective from former CBS News Moscow bureau chief Beth Noble. And what will the Supreme Court's tariff ruling mean for the economy? I'm going to talk with WashU economist John Horn about what happens with our deals with other countries and what's going to happen in our grocery stores and other stores with what we're spending. Also, before the end of the hour, we're going to talk about how last year was the deadliest year for tornadoes in Missouri in 14 years. We're coming up on preparation week for severe weather. So we're going to talk with National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia about what they saw last year and what you really need to be prepared for this year. It's now 8:19. Let's get you prepared for your trip on the roads this morning with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that crash is still on the shoulder, Megan, on the ramp from from 55 on the northbound 270. So the ramp's just a little slow at the end there. Then north of Gravois all the way up to Ladue, still kind of busy in spots. Eastbound 64 approaching 170 to Big Ben's heavy. Westbound 64, the Science Center headed out through Bellevue slow. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Eastbound 44 is still a little heavy east of Elm through Laclede Station. Westbound 44, a backup from Grand to Kings Highway. That's roadwork related. Northbound 55 from Bayless up to River to Pears, kind of slow. Westbound 64 is heavy on the Poplar, and the 64 is also backed up west of 50 through 159 in the construction zone. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, we do have some clouds to start. We may see some sun, windy and warmer today. High 56, cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 38. And then tomorrow we'll have a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 58. Right now we have cloudy skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Let's go! You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
I'm Megan Lynch, and you're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico telling Americans in that country to continue sheltering in place because of ongoing security operations. It comes after Mexican authorities killed the leader of a powerful drug cartel. Karen Hua has the latest from Mexico City.
Many American tourists remain stranded in Puerto Vallarta, including Adrian Moorfield and TJ Perry.
You're kind of there indefinitely.
There were no outgoing flights until Thursday. That does not take into consideration whether or not roads will even be open, the airport will be operating again.
The violence in Guadalajara comes just a few months before Mexico's second largest city is scheduled to host FIFA World Cup matches.
Our Odyssey sister station, KNX, spoke with one of the tourists there, Aaron Mason, about what he saw.
What was the first indication you got that something wasn't right?
You know, this is my 5th time here. I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt anything but completely at home. Went down into the downtown area to go to a gym. I'm walking down the hill and I could see black smoke in the distance, kind of higher up on one of the hills. And, you know, you just think, oh my gosh, something's on fire. I wonder what it is. You know, is it a house? Is it a restaurant? Kept walking and then I saw another plume of smoke. Then I turned the corner on the street where the gym is and I saw flames and I'm like, what the heck? Wow. And got closer, saw a car just completely engulfed in flames. You know, you connect the dots and you say to yourself, okay, this is more than just an isolated incident.
So this happened really quickly. You hadn't heard about anything going on until you saw all of this happening at once.
Correct. It was about 8:30 here, I want to say. I was the first one out of my house, actually, to just, you know, go for that morning walk and go to the gym. It's what I do every morning when I'm here. And that's when really in real time it happening, and to the point where the smoke was just overcoming the downtown area and bleeding into the beach and just covering these beautiful blue skies, which we now know were vehicles that were being set on fire, and these corner stores. You know, if you've ever been to Puerto Vallarta, they're the XO stores. Yeah. I believe there is the name. They're like the 7-Elevens down here. The members of this cartel were going around setting these corner stores on fire and setting vehicles on fire and then using them as blockade.
And so I assume you go back at that point, and have you been there ever since?
Yeah, we've they put a shelter in place. We've been hunkered down ever since.
One travel expert says the Mexican tourism industry will take a hit because of the cartel violence.
There's no doubt that the recent attacks in Mexico are going to have an impact on tourism to Mexico. These are serious attacks, and because of the video we've seen on social media, it will affect people's desire to go there, at least on a short-term basis. I expect that we will see cancellations and we will see reduced tourism to Mexico, at least over the next few months.
That's Julian Keel, CEO of PointsPath. He says the tourist hotspot areas like Cancun could take a big hit soon if spring breakers decide to cancel their trips to head to other destinations. Keel says if you do have a trip to Mexico coming up in the next week and want to cancel your flight, you should be able to do so without having to pay a fee. It's now 8:26. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who's likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
No! It's just a golf lesson, champ. Loosen up.
I can't. See that Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid.
Finish up on your own. I gotta run.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offers end March 2nd. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about 213 Complex. And you can pick that up at Supplement Superstores. And quite simply, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed. Here's what it's doing for me and what it'll do for you. Boost the metabolism. Gets it working at full go all the time. Helps with cravings. And man, that's a big deal for me. All-day focus energy with no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. It's a great tool for achieving your goals. Get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off your 213 Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
8:30, time for a check of the morning push with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they dispatched fire crews for a reported vehicle fire making eastbound 70 around 5th Street. I see a couple vehicles on the left shoulder there. It's not bothering anybody. It's a little slow, but the vehicle doesn't look to even be smoking, so I don't think it's an issue for you if you're headed that way. Still a little slow at the end of the ramp from 55 on the North T70. That crash on the right shoulder. 44 up to Ladue. That's still busy if you're on eastbound 64. It's still slow east of Lindbergh to Big Bend, south 170 at Brentwood, westbound 64 Hampton through Bellevue, kind of busy. Westbound 44 is doing better, just kind of slow now west of Grand through Kings Highway in that work zone. Northbound 55 clear from Festus all the way downtown. Westbound 64 on the Poplars okay, but we still have a backup west of 50 through 159 due to road work. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, looks like we're going to have some sun today, windy and warmer, a high 56, cloudy tonight, a low of 38. Right now, cloudy skies, 26 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today marks 4 years since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Former CBS News Moscow bureau chief Beth Noble joins us now. Beth, when we look at this situation, how much territory does Russia now hold?
So the Russians have taken about 20% of Ukraine's territory. But if you look at the map, Megan, it's interesting to see that the amount of land they have hasn't changed a huge amount in the last, 3.5 years.
Because the thought was on the part of Russians that they were going to come in just a few days, really dominate Ukraine and take over the entire country, correct?
Yeah, that's right. 4 years ago today, when Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, ordered that his troops into Ukraine, he thought that they were just going to roll over and take the whole country in days or maybe just a couple of weeks. And it hasn't worked out that way. The Ukrainians have fought valiantly to hold off the Russian advances, partly because their people have rushed to the front lines to defend the country, and in part because the United States and European allies have given a lot of military equipment and aid to the Ukrainians to help them hold off the Russian advances.
Beth, what do we know about the daily living conditions for many Ukrainians at this point?
Yeah, well, Ukrainians are really exhausted and worn down by this war. The Russians have targeted Ukrainian infrastructure, meaning there's only a couple of hours of electricity every day now. In most of the country, in the major cities, there can be days without any heat at all. It's really tough for them. And that's one of the reasons that we've seen Ukrainians be much more willing to give up some territory to come up with a peace deal. At the beginning of the war, hardly anyone was willing to give up any land. And now about 40% of Ukrainians say they're willing to make some land sacrifices to bring this war to an end.
Are we still hearing reports of abuses within the Russian military?
Oh, boy, Megan. Some of the things that I've seen that are going on in the Russian military are things that you don't even want to talk about on the radio, particularly in the morning. It's really inhumane the way Russia is treating its own soldiers, and don't even get started on the way that they're treating the Ukrainians that they capture. And there have been all kinds of reports from nations in Asia and Africa that their men are being lured to Russia with promises of jobs like being cooks and cleaners. And then they arrive, they sign some papers and find themselves being sent to the front lines because they've signed some document in Russian that they didn't understand. And they're, don't speak Russian and are don't know what's going on and are being sent basically as fodder for the Russian war machine. Some of them are getting away and getting back home and telling people what's going on there. It's awful.
I know we've heard roughly 2 million killed. How long can both sides sustain this?
Well, I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody thought when this war began 4 years ago that it would go on this long. And part of the problem is that there's only one person who can end it, and that's the person who began it, Russian President Vladimir Putin. And until he's willing to stop the war, it's not going to stop. And nobody knows exactly what's going to bring him to make a real bargain. Everything that the West has done, like putting on sanctions and pulling out businesses, so far it just hasn't worked.
Beth, thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
That is former CBS News Moscow bureau chief Beth Noble joining us this morning here on KMOX.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. Legacybox.com/value.
8:36, time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Shares of advanced micro devices are surging this morning on an artificial intelligence deal. Meta has agreed to spend billions of dollars on AMD chips and computers designed to run AI over a 5-year stretch. This is the largest step in a colossal spending spree by the owner of Facebook and Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg has made AI the company's top priority. It also shows that AMD is keeping pace with larger rival NVIDIA. This morning, stocks are seeing a rebound from yesterday's more than 820-point drop for the Dow. S&P futures are holding steady. Shares of Home Depot are higher after reporting sales that topped Wall Street expectations on steady demand from customers. And about 23.5 million people on average tuned in to watch daily coverage of the Winter Olympics on NBC and other outlets such as the Peacock streaming service. It's almost double the number that watched 4 years ago. However, it's less than the 30 million that tuned in for the Paris Games. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It is Zero Res's Month of Love sale. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If the carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the Camo X special.
It's a great time. If there's ever a great time to purchase a furnace or an air conditioner. I know it's winter. We got some great pricing. You can get 0% financing. So if you have been told that you need a new furnace, definitely give me a call. I could probably save you lots of money. Get a second opinion. Call me. Next day installs for your furnace so you won't be without heat. Very long. A furnace average install about 2-3 hours for a furnace. So not a big issue to do it now. And like I said, great pricing. So if that's you, call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Just the easiest number. And there's one. 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth plans to meet with the CEO of Anthropic. Dario Amodei has raised ethical concerns about unchecked government use of AI, including the dangers of fully autonomous armed drones and AI-assisted mass surveillance. Investigators are asking well-meaning volunteers to stop unauthorized searches in the desert for Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother, now missing for 3 weeks. And the St. Louis Battlehawks opened their 2026 training camp yesterday at UFL headquarters in Arlington, Texas. Let's see what's happening on the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have a little bit of a delay on eastbound 70 coming through 5th Street. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It's due to a reported car fire. I never saw anything on fire, but the fire department is blocking the left lane, so it's slow from 94 to 5th Street on eastbound 70 right now. Northbound 270 through Doherty Ferry and then north of Manchester up to 64 is heavy. Eastbound 64 McKnight through 170 is backed up. South 170 slow at Brentwood. Seeing backed up traffic both directions on Manchester at Weidman. Westbound's at Mason. Eastbound is east of 141, so be prepared there. And we still have roadwork delays westbound 64, both sides of 159. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
We should see a little bit of sunshine today. Clouds otherwise windy and warmer, a high of 56. We'll have an overnight low tonight around 38 under mostly cloudy skies. And then tomorrow, clouds with some more sunshine and a little bit warmer, a high of 58. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 26 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Welcome to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. What's next for businesses, consumers, and the overall economy following last week's Supreme Court ruling that struck down many Trump administration tariffs? In studio this morning, a frequent guest here on Total Information AM, John Horn, an economics professor at the Olin School of Business at WashU in St. Louis. John, thank you so much for coming in studio this morning.
Thank you, Megan. Great to be here.
So when you saw this announcement Friday, what were some of the first thoughts you had as an economist?
The biggest thought was the uncertainty is going to continue. In some ways, the tariffs that were put in place last year had sort of settled in, and there was not absolute certainty, but it was a little bit more certain of what the levels were, what countries, how it was proceeding. Now that they've been ruled as illegally, some of them, not all of them, it just creates more chaos. The president implemented additional tariffs last week at the end of the week after the ruling. And I think there's just more chaos that's going to be coming in terms of rates, how long those rates will be put in place, where, for what products, et cetera. And so just the uncertainty is back.
One of the things that a lot of people have talked about is, the negotiations that happened over some of these tariffs and the deals that were cut with other countries. What happens with that now?
Well, we don't know. Again, that's the uncertainty. I mean, will the countries go back and say you negotiated in bad faith because those tariffs never were legal in the first place? We have to rip up those agreements because the tariffs were illegal and that was the pressure to get us to the table? Or will it be that that was the agreement you made, whether or not the tariffs, whether it was not predicated on those being found legal or not, then, again, uncertainty. We're not sure.
Does this give some countries more leverage? I'm thinking China in particular.
I think I don't know if it gives them leverage, but it gives them some relief in terms of the pressure of, we have no idea if new tariffs are going to be put in place and how large, because some of the, some of the legislators, some of the acts that the president is using to impose tariffs have time limits or rate limits. And so there's less of the concern that they're just going to be massive, huge tariffs implemented overnight. But I don't necessarily think it gives them leverage. China's been trying to move away from the U.S. for the last several years anyway.
Give us a sense of what the overall global economic impact has been over this tariff policy by the United States.
It's interesting because, when the tariffs were put in place last spring, everyone said, oh, it's going to destroy the economy. The global economy is going to crash. It's like the Great Depression all over again. And it hasn't happened. I would say, as an economist, it's not because economics is wrong. I think it's because a lot of people were sort of just waiting to see, are these going to be found illegal? Are these going to be put in place? Are they, stay in place? And so because of all that uncertainty of how long will these last and what's going to happen. One of the surprising things when we look at 2025 is that imports actually increased. And some of it was at the beginning of the year to avoid the tariffs before they were put in place. But there were increases in imports at the end of the year because that's where we import stuff from. Like the stuff we need to buy, a lot of it is made overseas, and you can't just overnight start manufacturing stuff in the United States. So, the global system was set up to be the global system, and it's not something you could just change overnight.
What do you think about the impact in the United States as far as to businesses and consumers?
Well, in terms of pricing, a lot of companies have been holding off trying to increase the prices because they don't want be the first one to increase prices, because then they'll lose relative to competitors that don't. There's also the difference of like the Walmarts of the world versus the small businesses and how they have ability or not to change prices. And then just the uncertainty about, are these going to be, taken away by the Supreme Court decision that had been going on for months and months and months. This wasn't a surprise to businesses. So I think for businesses, it was just, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's try to hold out as long as possible. A lot of people focus on the consumer price index, the CPI, which is sort of a measure of what we as consumers pay. But the last half of 2025, there's another metric that we economists look at, which is what's the overall price of everything that the economy produces. And that number was running about 4%. So, businesses have been facing higher prices. They haven't passed them all along. It's not clear how that's going to play out now that the tariffs have been removed. And, I don't think that prices are going to decrease because there are no more tariffs to be paid. Again, because the president also is now re-implying some of those tariffs.
I know we're in uncharted territory with this ruling by the Supreme Court and what happens to the money that's already been collected. For the average person out there, if there are any refunds to businesses, importers, et cetera, are we going to feel any effect of that?
As consumers, probably not. That's going to either go to the businesses, and honestly, a lot of that's going to go to legal fees to pay to file all the paperwork and stuff. It's highly unlikely that firms are going to refund that back to consumers who show up and say, "Hey, I bought this product at $50. Can you give me $5 back because the tariff went away?" I would be surprised if that happens.
Have you been surprised at all by the reaction of the markets to all of this over the last year?
Again, I think it goes back to that question of it doesn't feel like it's a permanent thing. It feels like partly this could go away. So what does that mean? Partly a lot of the market rate has been so focused on building out AI and data centers that it really hasn't been the import sector that has been driving what has happened with the stock market. And part of it was also, the market investors were saying, where else are we going to invest? And so the U.S. for the most part was still the best investment to make. And so people were still investing in the United States.
When it comes to deficit reduction, that was, billed as the whole purpose of the tariffs, and as that trickles down, to the U.S. economy, is anybody paying attention to that? Does that have an impact that now maybe these billions of dollars will be pulled out of that plan to reduce our deficit?
It's going to have some effect, but when you think about our deficit being over $1 trillion a year, and our deficits are so large that yes, this would have helped if we had these tariff revenues coming in, but as a percentage of all the revenue that we have coming into the United States, it's not the major part. So, yes, will it make the deficit worse because those tariffs go away? Yeah, but it's not like it was 50% of all the revenue, and that's going to have a massive hole.
So at this point, we're just kind of holding steady.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's holding steady, and also the uncertainties back of what's going to happen next.
Yeah, with the 15% tariffs that take effect today, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, John, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining me in studio this morning.
Megan.
That is John Horn. He is an economics professor at the Olin School of Business at Washington University. Up next, we're going to talk to the National Weather Service. Last year was actually the deadliest year for tornadoes in Missouri in 14 years. We're coming up on a week next week that's all set for preparation for storms to help you get ready. It's now 8:48.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for Banner Construction, bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction, located right here in St. Louis, been around for over 30 years, a full-service exterior home remodeler. If you've been looking at your weathered exterior of your home and thinking, I've got to do something. Well, now is the time to do something and be first in line for spring with Banner Construction. They're an elite preferred James Hardie specialist. That's the real wood look and feel of James Hardie siding. They are a certified Pella contractor, stylish window replacements. Call Banner Construction today and schedule that free in-home design and written estimate. It's free just to do that. Fall in love with your home again. See Banner's work at bannerconstruction.com or just call them 314-569-1050. 314-569-1050 for Banner Construction. Bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
Officials are hoping that you will take this year's severe weather threats seriously, considering that last year was the deadliest tornado season in Missouri since the Joplin tornado. Next week is Missouri Severe Weather Preparedness Week, and the statewide tornado drill is on the 4th. Joining me to look at last year's severe storms and what we need to prepare for this year is National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia. Melissa, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So when we say that last year was the deadliest tornado season since 2011, what did Missouri see as far as storms and the tornadic activity?
So Missouri saw 98 tornadoes total over the course of 2025, and that included 10 EF3 tornadoes, which are two away from our highest tornadoes possible.
How does that compare with previous years? Do you feel like last year was an extreme year?
Last year was certainly above normal, over twice what we see on average across Missouri. Normally we see about 45 tornadoes across the state of Missouri, and so 98 is double that, and then some.
When you talk about an F3, what's the destructive capability of a tornado that size?
When we're talking about an EF3 tornado, we're going to start to see walls and roofs being removed from homes, no matter how well they are built. A home that is more aged and was built when building codes were different or hasn't been kept up well will see more extensive damage. But even with homes that are newly built and built up to current code standards are going to see significant damage that will be difficult to recover from.
When you look at the longer range forecast for our region as we move into spring, what are you predicting as far as severe weather and tornadoes at this point?
Well, we know that the spring in Missouri, March through May, is really the peak of when we see tornadic activity in this region. But as we're heading out of the current global pattern that we're in, the La Nina, as some of your listeners might be familiar with, we know that research heading out has shown that heading out of a La Nina pattern has shown an increase in tornado activity across the southern half of Missouri. So we're already heading into our period when we typically see the most tornadoes, and then we're also in a season where we're expecting to see maybe a little bit above that. So while we can't guarantee numbers or dates when these things might occur, we certainly want to be prepared.
Should this be a wake-up call for Missouri residents that we did have a lot of severe weather last year?
I do think it's important that we remember that severe weather can happen at any point during the year. And we unfortunately live in an area, as beautiful as it is, that does see a lot of severe weather. And so it's really critical that we remain prepared and ready to take action whenever severe weather strikes.
So as someone who is a forecaster and a meteorologist, if you could tell our listeners maybe just a few things that you would have them do to prepare for severe weather, what would those be?
Absolutely. There's three main things I think are really critical for folks to take into consideration. The first is to make a plan and practice it. Think about what you want to do for tornadoes or damaging wind, whether you're at home, out doing errands, or at work. Just like we practiced tornado drills and fire drills at school growing up, we want to practice those plans that we make so that they're really ingrained in us. The second thing is that we want to have multiple ways to receive warnings. Just relying on outdoor warning sirens is going to mean that you're going to miss those warnings sometimes because warning sirens are not meant to be heard indoors. So having a no-weather radio, having push notifications on your phone, and staying alert to local broadcast media, both news and radio, is a great way to receive those warnings. And then the third way is to take action the first time you hear a warning. Don't wait until you get a second warning to take action. You may not get a second warning. So the first time you receive that warning, take action, put your plan in motion, get safe, and then seek more information.
I have a follow-up question to that when we talk about, getting to a safe place. Could you let us know, where at home is a safe place, just as a reminder? And if you're out someplace, where do you go to be safe?
It's a great question. When we talk about tornado safety, we really talk about good, better, best. And in terms of the best place that you can possibly be is going to be below ground level, away from windows, under something sturdy. Think a staircase, a very sturdy work table. Many folks in this area have access to basements. That's a great solution. That's personally where I shelter, but not everybody does have access to a basement. So the next best thing is going to be an interior room on the lowest floor. So hopefully the first floor, in an interior room away from windows. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And this holds true if you are out and about as well. Let's say that you're out shopping and you're in a big box store. You're going to want to get into a small enclosed room like the bathroom, or if the workers will allow you, into these staff areas that have more walls between you and the outside, that aren't in those big cavernous spaces. Going into the freezer spaces at grocery stores is also a good option, as long as you are allowed to do so by the workers. And that also holds true at gas stations. So if you're driving around and you get that notification on your phone of a tornado warning, go to a gas station, go to a rest stop, get somewhere quickly into a sturdy 4-walled building, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible.
Melissa, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your advice.
Thank you so much.
That is National Weather Service meteorologist Melissa Delia joining us this morning here on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Consensual deep pressure hugging is beneficial for mental and physical well-being and can reduce feelings of anxiety and regulate cortisol levels. Researchers from Queen Mary University London stress that warm touch reminds us we're connected and valued as part of a social world. Hugs lasting 5 to 10 seconds are more likely to be considered pleasurable than shorter or longer hugs. Longer than 10 seconds may start to feel awkward. I'm Margie Schaefer.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and